Good morning, chat. Good morning,
Good morning.
Nova. What's the
Morning.
happening?
Just
Look at
enjoying my
me.
locales. My morning tea and my locales.
Yeah, did we ever do a video on Cobra? King
We
Cobra?
talked about them, but I don't know if it was like a live stream. We might have did it like off camera and it didn't make the cut.
All right, I won't confuse chat with that, but it gets weird when y'all ain't around.
It gets awesomely weird. It's better than
Good
any
morning.
what's his name? Token? Who's the guy who wrote Game of Thrones? Martin?
Oh, that chick. It's a chick, right?
No, it's a dude. The guy
No
who wrote
way.
it.
Oh,
Yes,
Game
way.
of Thrones. Yeah, I don't know Game of Thrones. I was thinking Harry Potter.
No, not J.K. Rowling. I had J.K. on my mind, but it's R.L. Martin or something Martin.
I don't know. I believe you. What were we talking about again?
I don't know.
Well,
Locales.
here's the thing. You remember I told you I was putting butter in my coffee because I'm keto?
Yes, I've heard that before. I've tried it a couple times, I think, but I didn't care for it. But it's supposed to make your coffee like thicker and instead of milk or something.
Well, I still use everything else. I just add also the butter. I don't know. I was doing it for calories, to be honest. But this morning
calories?
I used, yeah.
I don't eat enough.
Yeah, but I don't have time for all that. I'm going to drink my coffee, so I'll just put the calories in here if it's all the same. But I made can of butter this weekend, and so this morning I decided to put can of butter in my coffee. So if I get
tuned in, chat. Here we go. You got the questions.
That's the problem.
That's why she's off camera. She's spacey.
Yeah, I don't care about that camera no more. Don't do me no good. Let me say hi to chat. Good morning, Vicky. Good to see you always. Mr. Hideous, Witchy. Hans is here this morning. Good morning. Liptarded Phasiat. Nova, you're always in chat. And Amit, good morning, y'all.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
See, you and Hideous are being friendly.
Yeah, well, I said Cobra's got a girlfriend now. It's about time Darth got out and stretched his legs and found himself a woman.
Wait, whoa, how do you know Darth? I think Darth has, I mean, this is not my business, but how do you know he doesn't? You wouldn't know.
He's too angry. If he had a woman, he'd be less angry.
Angry, though, I mean, that's personal opinion. I think he's just angry at you because you're Canadian. He said, oh my God, if Div passes out and leaves us here with Nova, I will unfollow. All right. So
my prediction was wrong. I'm going to have to take that one. My prediction for the Super Bowl was wrong.
Oh, yeah. Taylor Swift won the Super Bowl.
Right.
Congratulations,
so I'm never watching
Taylor.
Football again, especially after that halftime show. I'm never watching the Super Bowl ever again. That was the gayest thing I've ever seen in my life.
I find it mucho hilarious that they went into overtime just to milk their stupid audience. And you got to be here just to see if there's a proposal in that overtime. I didn't watch the halftime show. It was no good.
Oh my God. It was horrendous. So what's the demographic for the Super Bowl? Would you say men between like 14 and 50 would be your target demographic?
Yeah, I suppose something like that, yeah.
So if you're going to get a music act for those men, majority straight men, would it be a male stripper with a high-pitched voice?
Are you talking about Usher?
Yes.
He's not gay, though.
5'1" male stripper.
That's
all he did on stage was strip
and
break dance.
Yeah.
Literal
he's like the new Michael Jackson since Mike is dead. So
he's gonna have to start diddling kids because he can't sing.
No,
and his dancing wasn't that good, and it was embarrassing.
Was it embarrassing for real, or you just hate?
No, it was. I watched it. I tried to give it. It was embarrassing. And then they brought on Alicia Keys, and they were singing love songs. Like it's halftime at the Super Bowl. It should be like rock and roll. It should be like hype up. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's party.
No, it was a Taylor Swift engagement party. You shut your mouth.
And they were singing love songs, and they were doing like, and then they kept bringing all these has-beens who no one under 30 would know who they were. Like it was embarrassing.
That is embarrassing. But
I watched it with somebody else who doesn't watch sports at all or any of that stuff, and even she was like, "This is embarrassing."
Oh damn! I almost want to watch it.
Yeah, I highly recommend watching it. It's a train wreck. It's like really, and it was just like crotch shots into the camera, spread legs into the camera. Like it was just pure degeneracy, but all gay men degeneracy.
Okay. Well,
Alicia Keys, they brought her on for I don't know why.
Because she has a great voice.
Yes, no, she's tremendously talented. But
she didn't sing.
Oh no, she sang, but that's not Super Bowl pick me up kind of singing. You know, it's more like a rainy Tuesday kind of music.
Oh, yeah. I mean, honestly, like they probably chose. It's like 2023 was the year of the reboot. 2024, they're like, we're not even gonna fucking try that anymore. We're
That
just
was this.
here.
That was the Super Bowl. They didn't even try. The
They're
halftime.
just pulling
They just
hair out of the
them
drain for
They
2024.
had Jay-Z in the box with Beyonce. Jay-Z and Beyonce could have did a better halftime show. No joke. Like at least some rap, like something to hype you up. Get like nothing.
Nothing.
It was bad.
I'm sorry you had to deal with that.
And why can't they get people under 50 as celebrities? Every celebrity that showed all the Super Bowl commercials, like the great commercials, it was all 50-year-old has-beens like Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like embarrassing. Like I even had to tell my friend who some of these people were. She's like, I didn't even remember who those people are.
Well,
Matt Damon looked like he was 70. He's off the adrenochrome.
They're maybe, I was gonna say he's off the baby's blood.
He
Afternoon,
looks aged bad.
inappropriately said. Good to see ya.
Good morning. Good morning.
So there's a couple things I want to talk about. Oh wait, hold on.
Oh, can I ask your sister something first?
You may.
Have you ever had somebody on a vanilla extract overdose on one of your calls? Did you see that video?
Yeah, good question. I did that. That was wild.
How many bottles of vanilla extract do you think someone can drink and still drive a car?
It's less than 20.
And the cop that tried to make her do sobriety when she's like, what planet am I on? Like, she's not doing a fucking walk the sobriety, touch your nose kind of, she's not. That cop was fucked.
She has seen somebody on the vanilla, she said.
Have you? Oh my God, was it good? Was it one bottle or 20? Because this girl had 20. Maybe we'll catch it at the end of the show.
How did you figure out that she was on the
Oh, you didn't watch the whole video?
I skimmed through it. It was long. I was doing other shit.
You got to watch the whole video. At the very end, when one cop cuffs her, the other like goes in the passenger door to see what's in the car for drugs or something. He just starts pulling out 20 empty bottles of vanilla.
I saw like the bag of the bottles. I'm asking,
what?
Inappropriately said though, how did they figure out that it was the vanilla? Good afternoon, Joel.
Because if the cops never found it in the car, they would just thought she was on drugs because she was spaced. But she didn't smell like alcohol.
She couldn't get out of the car. He's like, okay, you're going to need to turn your legs and then put your feet out and follow them or some shit. I was like, that's funny. And then she gets out. She's standing there. He's like, all right, put your keys in the car. And she sits back down. He goes, oh, Jesus. That's my favorite part.
And then she's like trying to hold his hand. She's like, I'm going to get you to walk 10 paces. And she's like, let me hold your hand. He's like, no, it's not a holding hand exercise.
Yeah, that was really bad. All right, guys. Well, there's a lot going on. But there was a shooting yesterday also. And the breaking news on that is that the woman that did that,
shooter.
it was actually a man and they detonated him.
It's funny that this didn't go all across the liberal news.
Well, apparently, so Boomer, she said, after it happened, she said, if they don't tell us the gender and all of this in the next 20 minutes, then it's a trans person. And so today, this morning.
Is it a trans?
Yeah. I said, breaking news, Lakewood church shooter identified as transgender, legal name Genesee Moreno, but went by the name Jeffrey.
So all I heard on the news was woman with long gun shoots up a church.
Yeah, well, she wishes she had a long gun.
It's amazing how the media doesn't want to talk about shootings when it's a tranny on multiple different psychotic drugs and hormones and everything else. Like, that's MK Ultra. I think that's how MK Ultra did it. They put them on fucking all these psychotic meds and Adderall and fucking hormones and just messed up their whole wiring system and then said, go out into the public.
Oh, my dog is really trying to get out of here. I'll be right back. Maybe we're going to have an earthquake. Let me just let her out.
Wouldn't he hide then? I thought cats go crazy just before an earthquake. Is that true? Is that why people have cats?
I think you just have to have a special type of animal. My dogs, I just made that up. They don't know anything.
I know cats go crazy before like snowstorms here or like big rainstorms. They'll start acting all weird for like 6 hours before the storm comes.
Sorry, when AFK. So we're gonna talk about Gina Carano suing Disney, and we'll talk a little bit about President Biden not being fit to stand trial because he don't remember anything.
Which is hilarious because how is he fit to have the nuclear codes?
Oh, it's a process. You wouldn't understand.
This
Okay,
might be a good prediction. I may have gotten this one early.
What?
I predicted VVIP as the VP like months ago.
Oh, I wanted to show these pictures because I swear to God he's standing on a box in that right picture. Can you imagine you get to your family portrait and they put the little crate out so you can stand on it? That's embarrassing.
Is he short? I don't think he's short, is he?
Look at, yeah, he is.
He's a little shorter than Trump, but I don't know how tall Trump is either.
Look at him when he's sitting next to his wife.
Well, he's not Ron DeSantis with 4-inch lifts in his cowboy fucking boots.
Yeah, will he stand on a milk crate in his family photo?
Milk crate I'll accept. That's admitting you're short. Putting 4-inch lifts in your cowboy boots is just embarrassing.
Darth Idiot said Vivek will not be VP, and you are retarded if you think you will. We don't get guaranteed. He says we don't get nice things in this country. What?
So why did Trump and Vivek take the stage at Mar-a-Lago? Tell me that, Darth. Did you know they were on stage together? And Vivek was saying, "Vote for Trump, vote for Trump, vote for Trump."
He's been saying that since he dropped out of the race. That's his job to say that if he wants to be taken seriously as a Republican next time.
Although I thought he was a little snaky in the grass when he told that woman, "If you want Trump to win, the best thing to do is vote for me."
I know. And then when he drops out, he's like, "If you want democracy to win, you got to vote for Trump." The fuck out of here, you slimy son of a bitch.
Whatever bus is going to the direction I need to go.
I don't know. I when I thought this was true before I started searching around for it myself, I thought this was a good move. When I didn't think there was a choice, when I thought it was real and it was like, "Oh shit, that happened," I was like, "It's probably a good choice."
I want it to be real because I want him to be who I want him to be. I don't know who he is.
Like the young, ready to call you out aspect of Vivek.
Yes,
that's it.
Not scared of the.
I don't trust
not scared of the media. We'll sit down with anybody. I'd rather someone who will sit down and have a discussion than someone who won't do any interviews ever.
Yeah, that part. Well, so the special counsel,
and I think if he does 4 years under Trump, he'll get another 4 to 8 as president. So it can carry the torch, the conservative torch at least.
That makes no sense. Why would you give him preemptive presidency? You don't even know what he could do as VP, let alone one term as president. So
I said hope. This is my hope.
Why would you hope for that? You don't even know how he's going to govern.
No, I know. But you got to hope. You got to have a white pill. You can't just be all black pill. Come on now.
A black pill. That's reality pill. I don't know what color that is. I don't see in color. Okay. But we do have to talk about the special counsel report on the classified documents for Biden. Yes. And we're going to talk about Gina Carano suing Disney. The thing is, the classified documents thing, let me show you this. It's like 388 pages, I think. Let's let this load in.
Jesus. It's got to be long.
But the first 33 pages really tell us what we want to hear, at least in it, if you wanted to get. So we're never in the history of ever going to be able to finish to read this today. So we're not even going to try. And then the Gina Carano case it's 61 pages with the last exhibit, which I did find. So no, we will be able to talk about probably all of Gina Carano and a little bit of Biden. So want to just cover Biden real quick, or
sure.
Okay.
Why do those people have asterisks on their names?
The asterisks. Oh, I didn't switch pages yet. Let me look at this one you're saying. Jean. Probably because it says Pro Hawk VJ application forthcoming. So they're not necessarily. They're representing her as long as the court will let them. So far, that's the asterisk. Unless you tell us no.
Is there a judge picked for her case yet?
She just recused herself, but they got another one. So I think they got another one on Friday. I think she recused herself, but it looked like they had another assigned already. Just looking at the court docket, but I honestly couldn't tell you. The establishment doesn't care what that Canadian thinks. Nova hope something for your own country. Okay, relax or something.
Simmer
Alberta
down,
is fending off the wackos from the east. Only color I can see for the past 2 weeks is black. Weirdest thing. Are you okay? In commercials? Oh no, hands done went blind. Where?
Alberta's like our Texas, basically. They're the last bastion of hope for Canada.
You think Texas is out for America?
I think Texas is the most right-wing state that I know of. The most fuck freedoms, rules over everything. Is that the right state?
I don't know. I guess during COVID that would have been Florida, which is embarrassing to say.
Yeah, Florida's Florida, man. We can't go there.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't. You're probably right about Texas. I don't know though. I couldn't say I know anything enough to say that. But when I try to put another state up next to it, I'm like, would it be maybe Montana?
Could be.
I don't know. I honestly couldn't tell you. Texas is fucking purple. Missouri. Yeah, Texas is all talk. It's definitely not Montana.
What states are green?
What is it then?
Tell me which states are green, Joe Biden?
Green.
During his speech during the Tucker Putin thing, he was talking about the red states and the green states, and people are like, the what states? Like, I know if you mix red and blue, you get purple.
They're giving him the wrong color maps. No wonder he's all over the place. They're fucking with him behind the scenes. Just got to build walls around cities.
Kamala is putting eye drops in his fucking drinks.
I do believe that. Okay, so this is the special counsel report. It starts with a letter that says kind of how it went down. Enclosed, you'll find the report. They had sent, this is just saying that they sent a copy of it, a version of a first draft to the White House. The White House attorneys and Biden's personal attorneys, everyone looked over it, make sure that they didn't find any errors that they did find. They were bullet pointed here. They fixed them. Blah, blah, blah. Thanks for watching or listening. Here's the report. Alaska is the only state where 8-year-old girls can carry firearms everywhere. Don't get much more right-wing than that. Why you Xing it out?
They're let 8-year-olds walk around in guns in Alaska?
I bet he's right, because you got to give your kid a gun in order to fend off the bears and the wolves and shit. Probably the wolves.
Maybe in like rural Alaska, but you can do that in rural Canada.
The whole shit is fucking rural. It's Alaska.
No, there's cities in Alaska.
Nah, even the cities are considered rural if they're there. I don't believe in them though. I don't even know.
The only thing I know about Alaska is the Alaskan Bush people. So that's my whole opinion of Alaska.
And they're fake, yeah? Those are them?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to get into this. This is the executive summary. It says, we conclude that no criminal charges are warranted in this matter. We would reach the same conclusion even if Department of Justice policy did not foreclose criminal charges against a sitting president. This is about the classified documents that they found in Biden's homes.
Garage.
Right. It says, our investigation uncovered evidence that President Biden willfully retained and disclosed classified information materials after his vice presidency when he was a private citizen. These materials included marked classified documents about military and foreign policy in Afghanistan, notebooks containing Mr. Biden's handwritten entries about issues of national security and foreign policy implicating sensitive intelligence sources and methods. FBI agents recovered these materials from the garage, offices, and basement den in Mr. Biden's Wilmington, Delaware home. However, for the reasons summarized below, we conclude that the evidence does not establish Mr. Biden's guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. Prosecution of Mr. Biden is also unwarranted based on our consideration of the aggravating and mitigating factors set forth in the DOJ's principle of federal prosecution. For these reasons, we decline to prosecute Mr. Biden. The classified documents and other material recovered in this case span Mr. Biden's career in national public life. During that career, Mr. Biden has long seen himself as a historic figure. Elected to Senate at age 29, he considered running for president as early as 1980 and did so in 88, 2008, and 2020. He believed his record during decades in the Senate made him worthy of the presidency, and he collected papers and artifacts related to significant issues and events in his career. He used these materials to write memoirs published in 2007 and 17 to document his legacy and to cite as evidence that he was a man of presidential timber.
Here's a question.
What?
If you have a ghostwriter writing your books, should the ghostwriter be allowed to go through classified and top secret documents?
Well, we're going to find out that
he
is, because that's what
he's the one
happened.
that blew the whistle. He's like, should I be allowed to see these, Mr. Biden? Like,
well, that same that was the whistleblower did that?
I think his ghostwriter told on him. He's like, you're not supposed to even let me see these, and why do you have, like,
I
he
don't
was
think
like,
so.
I think I saw that in Robert Gouvea's breakdown.
Because I guess we'll keep reading. In 2009, when then Vice President Biden strongly opposed the military's plan to send more troops to Afghanistan, U.S. policy in Afghanistan was deeply important to Mr. Biden, and he labored to dissuade Obama from escalating America's involvement, which he believed was a mistake akin to Vietnam. Despite Biden's advice, Obama ordered a surge of additional troops. You don't believe he didn't want that war?
No, he's full fucking military industrial complex.
So you think he was just sending these letters to Biden just to keep in his to like
play both sides when he needed to?
That's weird.
Just like all the people that said, I was for the war and then I was against the war, and then just depends on, who they're talking to that day, whether they were for it or against it.
But if he's against it while it's building up to it, that kind of counts for something, no?
No, not in that world. They'll say one thing to your face and then the reality is completely different.
Okay, President Obama ordered a surge of additional U.S. troops, and Mr. Biden's views endured sharp criticism from others within and outside of the administration. But he always believed history would prove him right. He retained materials documenting his opposition to troop surge, including the classified handwritten memo he sent to Obama over the 2009 Thanksgiving holiday and related marked classified documents. FBI agents recovered those materials from Mr. Biden's Delaware garage and home in December 2022 and January 2023. Also, during his 8 years as vice president, Mr. Biden regularly wrote notes by hand in notebooks. Some of these notes related to classified subjects, including the presidential's daily brief and National Security Council's meetings, and some of the notes are themselves classified. After his presidency, Mr. Biden kept these classified notebooks in unsecured and unauthorized spaces in his Virginia and Delaware homes and used some of the notebooks as reference materials for his second memoir, Promise Me, Dad, which was published in 2017. To our knowledge, no one has identified any classified information published in Promise Me, Dad, but Mr. Biden shared information, including more classified information from those notebooks with his ghostwriter. FBI agents recovered the notebooks from the office and basement den in Mr. Biden's Delaware home in January 2023. Okay. Marked classified documents about Afghanistan. These documents from fall 2009 have classification marks up to top secret, sensitive, compartmented information level. They are found in a box in Mr. Biden's Delaware garage that contained other materials of great personal significance to him and that he appears to have personally used and accessed. The marked classified documents were found along with drafts of the 2009 Thanksgiving memo Mr. Biden sent to Obama in a last-ditch effort to persuade him not to send additional troops to Afghanistan. These materials were proof of the stand Mr. Biden took in what he regarded as among the most important decisions of his vice presidency. Mr. Biden wrote in 2007 and 2017 memoirs that, with the help of a ghostwriter, in a recorded conversation with his ghostwriter on February 2017, about a month after he left office, Mr. Biden said, while referencing his memo from Thanksgiving 2009, that he had, quote, just found all the classified stuff downstairs, end quote. At the time, he was renting a home in Virginia where he met with his ghostwriter to work on his second memoir. Downstairs from where they met was Mr. Biden's office, where he stored his papers. He moved out of their Virginia home in 2019, consolidating his belongings in Delaware, where FBI agents later found marked classified documents about the Afghanistan troop surge in his garage.
So there's no argument that they did find all the stuff that they said Trump had, the same classified documents, the same scenario. They're parallel, right?
So far.
So far.
Except, I mean, yes, so far. Did you read?
But Biden said
what?
that he had filing cabinets that had locks on them, and that they could be locked. Not that they were locked, but they were able to be locked. So it's not even they were locked up.
The difference as we get into this, that we're going to read, is that Biden was like, I'm pretty sure I have it. I'm pretty sure those are mine. Here's this. Take it if you want it. Or, yeah, it's over here. Where Trump was saying, no, you can't have this. No, this is mine. And for a year, he went like a beat around the bush about getting those documents to a SCIF so that they could stay secure.
Would you consider Mar-a-Lago a secure facility? I would. Why not? It's like
it's a fucking hotel. That's why.
No, it's not a hotel. It's a personal fucking playground. It was a hotel until Trump bought it. Now it's just his little fucking Playboy mansion.
Okay, then
like I don't think anyone
from the Playboy mansion
can just walk into Mar-a-Lago. I don't think.
I have no idea.
Go through security and all that.
I don't think so. I don't know if that's true. Let's look. What is Mar-a-Lago? Let's ask the internet.
Because I think that's kind of the thing. Like Trump's
it's a golf course, right?
There is a golf course on there, but I don't think it's.
Mar-a-Lago is a resort and National Historic Landmark in Palm Beach. It is the official residence of the president.
Yeah, it's his residence.
He lives there. It's also a resort. What part of that is?
It's not a resort.
It says Mar-a-Lago is a resort and National Historic Landmark. It is the official residence. Mar-a-Lago was built during at the time of her death. He acquired it in 1985 and used the 126-room, 62,000 square foot mansion as a residence before 1994, when he converted it into Mar-a-Lago Club, members-only club with guest rooms and spas and other hotel-style amenities. His family maintains private quarters in the separate off area of the house and grounds.
I was 10% right. We won't talk about your 90%.
Nevertheless, what were we? In his death, nevertheless, we do not believe this evidence is sufficient, as jurors would likely find reasonable doubt for one or more of several reasons. Both when he served. What?
Isn't it the jury's job to figure out what they want to do, not for a prosecutor to go, wow, the jury's not even going to listen to this?
No, well, the prosecutor, the district attorneys, like, they have to decide which cases they will prosecute, and they have to look at the evidence and decide if it meets a certain bar that the jury can also, this is normal.
Okay.
Both when he served as vice president and when the Afghanistan documents were found in Mr. Biden's Delaware garage in 2022, his possession of them in his Delaware home was not a basis for prosecution, because as vice president and president, he had authority to keep classified documents in his home. The best case for charges would rely on Mr. Biden's possession of the Afghanistan documents in his Virginia home in February 2017, when he was a private citizen and when he told his ghostwriter he had just found classified materials. So that, it sounds like, is looking over all of this, according to this special counsel dude, that the best case for charges would rely on Mr. Biden's possession of the Afghanistan documents in his Virginia home, February 2017, when he was just a private citizen, told his ghostwriter he had found the documents. So for whatever that was.
So he's basically guilty, but we're just not going to waste our time.
Well, they're saying the best case for it, but like they're just finding this stuff, right? Like, to go before a jury, that would be the fact finder and all of that. So they're saying, it just seems like if you wanted to, I don't know.
Because in my mind, this is exactly the same thing that they're doing to Trump. Like identical, the same classified documents in the same unsecured place that he's not supposed to have, blah, blah, blah. And they want to put Trump 700 years in jail with every possible charge they can charge him with, whereas Trump or Biden, they're like, well, he's feeble and retarded, so the jury's going to give him sympathy.
Yeah, like he doesn't, basically that's what it comes down to, but the scenarios are different. As far as, like I said earlier, when asked about it, one of them was like, "Here you go," and the other one was like, "Come and try and get it." That's different. And it looks
Did he
different when
say
you're
come and
talking to
try
a
and get
jury.
it? I thought Trump had his lawyers collect everything to give back.
How long after the first time he asked did that happen?
I have no idea.
Yeah, a year and a half. They asked
Okay.
several times, and it was the runaround. And so, I
Was
do think
that on advice of his attorneys, or was that just Trump being Trump? Like, did his attorneys go, no, you're the president, you're allowed to have these documents because you have presidential immunity, blah, blah. Like, did his lawyers tell him that? Like, they told him about the other shit he got in trouble for? Or was it just Trump going, fuck you, they're mine?
I don't know, probably a lot of Trump. I don't think a lot of people get to tell Trump how to behave. We read that. Several defenses are likely to create reasonable doubt as to such charges. For example, Mr. Biden would have found the classified Afghanistan documents at his Virginia home in 2017 and then forgotten about them soon after. This could convince some reasonable jurors that he did not retain them willfully. When Mr. Biden told his ghostwriter about finding all the classified stuff downstairs, his tone was matter of fact. For a person who had viewed classified documents nearly every day for 8 years as vice president, including regularly in his home, finding classified documents at home less than a month after leaving office could have been an unremarkable and forgettable event. Notably, the classified Afghanistan documents did not come up again in Mr. Biden's dozens of hours of recorded conversations with the ghostwriter or in his book. At the place where the Afghanistan documents were eventually found, in Mr. Biden's Delaware garage, it is a badly damaged box surrounded by household detritus, suggests that documents might have been forgotten. In addition, Mr. Biden's memory was significantly limited during both his recorded interviews with the ghostwriter in 2017 and in his interviews with our office in 2023, and his cooperation with our investigation, including my reporting to the government that the Afghanistan documents were in his Delaware garage, will likely convince some jurors that he made an innocent mistake rather than acting willfully. That is, with intent to break the law as the statute requires.
Isn't ignorance of the law no excuse? I thought that's what they tell all the poor people when they get caught breaking the law. I'm like, well, I didn't even know I couldn't do that. And they go, ignorance of the law is no excuse.
Okay, well, it says, some jurors will find that an innocent mistake rather than acting willfully, that is, with intent to break the law that the statute requires. So in order to charge him, you have to have a willful intent, and they're saying they don't find that.
Okay.
That's based on the law.
Because he's too dumb or too forgetful?
Many reasons. Either way, it wasn't willful intent to break the law.
Okay, I just want to get the rules down. So you just have to play, I don't remember when you're that.
Well, this ghost-written conversation that's recorded is real time. He's in real time. They're saying when you listen to how he speaks, it sounds like no, I didn't say he forgot. He was very matter of fact is what it said. Matter of fact, meaning here's the documents, because it didn't seem like, oh, hey, I got those secret things. It didn't, and they're saying because he's just months out of being the vice president, that looking at these classified documents didn't ring a bell in his head that he shouldn't have them. And then he put them back away and it walked away. Like wasn't trying to keep them. The significance of having classified documents didn't ring any bells or something to that effect. So he had no intent, which is part of the statute, which is what they're saying here, to break that law. So what's the point of going, if it does require intent and they've looked at it every which way and they can't find, intent.
So
do you put it in front of a jury?
So on the flip side of that coin, did Trump have intent? Or was he just being Trump, being a dick? Like, he wasn't going to use the classified documents or anything, was he? Like, what's the intent? Like, how would you
someone tells you
intent?
if the ghostwriter had been like, hey, you're not allowed to have those documents, and they were like, it's fine, then he's got an intent to break the law, right? Or
Okay.
if the wife, any of that, right? So if somebody calls you from the fucking national whomever and says, hey, we need those documents, and for a year you avoid giving them, I do find intent there. I agree with Trump. I'm only trying to be intellectually honest when reading this.
Right. No, I agree.
Okay. I think Biden's shit, and I think that this is interesting, but
Can you zoom this in one?
yeah, totally.
Perfect.
In addition, Mr. Biden's memory was significantly limited, both during his recorded interviews with the ghostwriter in 2017 and his interviews with our office in 2023, and his cooperation with our investigation, including by reporting to the government that the Afghanistan documents were in his Delaware garage, will likely convince some jurors that he made an innocent mistake rather than acting willfully, that is, with intent to break the law as it requires. Another viable defense is that Mr. Biden might not have retained the classified Afghanistan documents in his Virginia home at all. They could have been stored by mistake and without his knowledge at his Delaware home since the time he was vice president, as were other classified documents recovered during our investigation. This would rebut charges that he willfully retained the documents in Virginia. So remember earlier it said there was like that small caveat, was like, if there could be charges, it's going to be probably related to this period in 2017 when he was in Virginia. Because this isn't his residence. This is a rented home that he's using to write a book. Now they're saying, based on this conversation, they could argue him anyways. They could say, yeah, he found the classified documents. He never says, that where he found them. They just happen to now be with him. So they're just trying to argue it every way. And so this would rebut charges that they were in Virginia, which really gets rid of that charge that they said would maybe stick.
All right, here's a question. So Biden has classified top secret documents in all these houses, all these places. Doesn't he have a duty as somebody who's authorized to have these documents to keep them in a secured place, not just where his housekeepers can move the boxes around in the garage and damage them and go through them or take pictures? Like, don't they have a duty to safeguard classified? Like, I get it, he gets to take them home, but like,
well, just like with Trump, as soon as he hands them to somebody else, as soon as they go to wherever he's going, that could be the act of declassification. So that would apply to Biden as well.
Okay. Did Biden give them to somebody, or did he just take them home?
He gave them to himself.
Okay.
Well, I mean, he read them to his ghostwriter, but like the act of him being like, okay, these are mine now, I'm going to use them for like that. As far as what I could tell when it came to Trump, that act of like, you don't have to say it, you don't have to do it, you don't have to wave a magic wand, you don't have to, nothing special has to happen. Your act of now using them a different way is enough. I think
the declassification, yes.
I'm not sure if I answered your question.
I'm almost leaning Trump's more guilty. Not quite, but I'm almost.
He handled it differently, and unfortunately, so with Biden, they're like, look at him, he's acting like an old man, like a senile old man for like the last 8 years. With Trump, they're like, look at him, he's acting like he's the boss for 10 years. So it's just a difference in how it could be sold to a jury. And this guy's not willing to prosecute, probably because of the second part about him being president currently. And so you want to see this. You want to see somebody who's going to look at the facts and not overly charge and fucking politically prosecute somebody. You just don't usually see it.
You know what I'd like to see is a document where someone else, not these people, but another document where someone was looked at being charged, but the prosecutor goes, nah, these are all the defense that the guy's going to use, so I'm not going to charge him. Like, that seems strange to me that the DA would be like, here's all the defenses he's going to use against me, so I'm not going to try. I don't see them putting that in writing. It's just saying we can't do a case. Well, but again, this is a special prosecutor, so it could be different circumstances.
Yeah, because even when they take it to, like, they say a grand jury indicted him, you're like, yeah, but the standard for a grand jury is less. So there's a standard in every step. There's a standard to get it before the grand jury. There's a standard for the grand jury. There could be a standard for a real jury. You know what I mean? There are these different bars that have to be met all along the way. He's saying we're not meeting a certain bar, and we're not going to expend more resources to do it, whether it's a lie or not.
Isn't that old saying they could indict a ham sandwich?
Who said that?
That's like a legal saying.
Oh, I don't know.
You've never heard that before?
No.
You can indict a ham sandwich. It means that a good lawyer can turn a case out of nothing. They can say, oh, a ham sandwich has cholesterol, so therefore it's attempted murder. Like I can't remember the real saying, but if you type that in sometime, I think it's like a well-known lawyer joke. Like I could get a ham sandwich indicted under a grand jury, which
Hold on,
means the grand jury is basically a joke because that shouldn't be possible.
well, because you don't offer pushback evidence, like, right? You just get to be like, "Here's all of our stuff," and they're like,
Oh,
"Damn,
notice
that's
one said, what
bad.
about
Let's
the
go."
Senate docs?
Hopefully they talk about that. Lydia said, "All evidence in jury prosecution should have to meet at minimum, the Roseanne bar." Which, speaking of, did you watch the Roseanne Tom McDonald interview?
Not the whole interview. I watched a clip of it.
Yeah,
And
it looks good.
I
Looks
only
like it's gonna be good.
I jumped off the Tom McDonald ship, and then I kind of
Yeah.
jumped back on it for that 5-minute Roseanne part where he was talking about God, but I haven't watched the whole interview because I don't want to ruin it.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't watched the whole interview
Should
yet,
I?
and I'm way off the Tom McDonald train, but I do love Roseanne, so I'm interested
I
in.
love Roseanne too. That's why I
Although
was
I
like,
heard he said he's gonna, like, make her the next rapper, and I'm like, "Get the fuck out of here with that."
yeah, that's fucked up.
Yeah. So this is what Chad is saying. He's also Trump has a private golf club at Mar-a-Lago. He also has a golf club in New Jersey, which is pretty. All evidence of jury prosecution should have to meet the Roseanne bar. Yes. Naughty said he's too senile to prosecute, but still a criminal. So the DOJ openly acknowledges that we have a senile criminal with the nuclear launch codes.
But he's
We
too
don't
senile
get.
to remember the code, so it's safe.
Well, it's not like he's the only one.
No,
Isn't it?
that was the stupid thing with Trump. Like, we can't let him have the codes. Like, well, Trump's
I
not
know
gonna.
it's so
He
lame.
can't launch nuke. Like, it's so stupid. It's
We
like
don't
15
get
people have
to
to
have
agree.
nice things in America. Fancy way to say trash. Ignorance of the law is only for the poor. Ignorance of the law is only for the poor. That's exactly why the Federalists don't have law classes in the school system. When you have money, the laws are bendable.
Yes.
If that were
That's why I
true,
said you only have rights if you can afford a lawyer. Otherwise, you have zero rights.
it is if that was true, Musk, Trump, and Jones would have had more bend. Explain that.
The who? Musk, Trump, and
Rich people.
Jones?
Yeah. Alex.
That wasn't a law class. That was a kangaroo court. That's not the justice system.
It's either way. It's you can't say you can have what you want in the justice system if you have money, and then say, yeah, but if you have these people had money in the justice system, be like, oh, it's a two-tier, it's a kangaroo. It's like,
Well, see, I see there's two different. There's the justice system, and then there's kangaroo court. I think they're two different
nah.
things. Yeah, I think so. I think so. I think the Alex Jones thing was already predetermined. There was no real case there. I think that was all decided before they even went into court. Which, like in Russia, that's how their justice system works, right?
I wouldn't compare our justice
Japan has a
system to. I don't
99%
know their
conviction
justice
rate. How
systems
is
at
that
all.
not crazy?
They
What do you think
probably.
about that
I have
one?
no idea. I don't, because I don't know about it. But it's, I mean, 99% conviction rate.
Yeah,
Sound like there's probably some.
crazy. Like, yeah.
There's probably some innocent people in jail.
Or they only take the real guilty people to trial.
The fucking real guilty people, so they get a pre-mental trial before they get to trial? Come
No,
on.
I think the Japanese have weird, like, social stuff, or they'll just admit the shit.
Oh, money
Honor
doesn't.
above death style.
Hideous said, money doesn't translate to power under this system. Serving the machine does.
That's a
Naughty
good point,
said,
Darcy. That's a good
only
point.
for the presidential docs. What about the Senate docs? I think they're going to mention something about that.
I don't know. What is the difference? I don't know anything about the Senate docs.
He's just talking about when he was senator versus when he was
Oh,
president,
okay.
vice president. I think that's how I'm seeing that, because he started
yes,
collecting documents,
he
a long time ago. He was on.
He couldn't have declassified. That was a criminal intent right there. Him removing them as a senator.
Ho, unless maybe he got the president at the time to hand them to him. I don't know. Good question, Naughty.
Good question. Yeah, put that on the list.
Stop getting all your legal theories from Ricada Nova. It exposes how you really are. That's my point. That the same system. Hey, my Lanta P. Beaver just showed up.
Hey, good morning. Good morning.
Long time no see. I'm
Gareth,
glad
you
you're
don't
here.
know, but I don't like Ricada, just so you know.
Yeah, and Ricada really made himself look silly. I'm not sure if you guys saw it, but Legal Mindset did a video this morning. I clipped it. It's like probably about 10-minute clip, but
He's stealing
really
your
funny.
show. Div did it first.
Not just the tier thing, but the
the F, put him in the right part.
Putting him in the but no, we'll talk about that.
Oh,
If we have time, we'll talk about that when we're done. Let
yes,
me
yes.
get through
I was gonna
this.
say you should bring up yours and see if who all fell in the right slots together. See if you guys picked them.
That is funny. Div has missed you, by the way. Okay. Biden as vice president was not commander in chief. Oh, yeah, that's true. So none of the documents Biden could have declassified.
Right. Because
I
they
was
were
thinking
all
Biden is president now, but none of that matters now.
now, right.
Okay, yeah, that's confusing. Given Mr. Biden's limited precision and recall during his
Oh,
interviews with
switch
his
back.
ghost. Oh, thank you. Given Biden's limited precision, which is a very I would hate for them to say that about me, and recall during his interviews with his ghostwriter and with our office, jurors may hesitate to place too much evidentiary weight on a single 8-word utterance to his ghostwriter about finding classified documents in Virginia. So maybe when you heard this, you thought that the ghostwriter told on him?
Yes. That's what I had in my mind, that the ghost story's like, "Whoa, dude, maybe you shouldn't talk about." That's what I thought was said.
Yeah, because the ghostwriter, I don't think that's what happened. But maybe. We still haven't got that far. But when they're talking about this, the 8-word utterance is just him in the recorded conversation because everything was recorded.
Right.
And so we recorded it and then he transcribed it.
That's right. Oh, and for the
And
record, this special prosecutor is a Obama justice guy, so it's like totally on Biden's side. So when you see stuff in here that looks bad, it could be really much, much worse if it would have been a Republican
yeah,
non-deep state special prosecutor.
I mean, they're both the deep state.
That's
Don't
true.
get confused. Don't let them fucking trick you.
Putin outed them.
Putin outed him. Listen to you, you Russian, whatever you're supposed to call you,
Comrade.
propagandist, comrade. In the absence of other, more direct evidence, they don't think those 8 words mean much. We searched for such additional evidence and found it wanting. In particular, no witness, photo, email, text, or other evidence conclusively places the Afghanistan documents in the Virginia home in 2017. In addition to this shortage of evidence, there are other innocent explanations for the documents that we cannot refute. When Mr. Biden told his ghostwriter he, quote, just found all the classified documents downstairs, end quote, he could have been referring to something other than the Afghanistan documents, and our report discusses these possibilities in detail. We have also considered that at trial, Mr. Biden would likely present himself to a jury, as he did during our interviews of him, as a sympathetic, well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory. That's
That's
fucking
bad.
embarrassing. As
I
our
think that's the
president.
one sentence that all the progressive media lynched onto. Like, how dare he say this? He must hate Mr. Biden. Like, this is the nicest thing. This is the nicest thing that, like, the way they could have said this.
That's how when old people play dumb, that's how they come across.
Right.
Based on our direct interactions with and observations of him, he is someone for whom many jurors will want to identify reasonable doubt. It would be difficult to convince a jury that they should convict him, by then a former president well into his 80s, of a serious felony that requires a mental state of willfulness.
The mental state.
Mm-hmm. Well, requires a mental state of willfulness. That's in the statute.
Right.
And they're saying he couldn't even in 2017, he couldn't have done anything willfully. This old
Yeah, right. And it's only
great
gotten worse.
president. We conclude the evidence is not sufficient to convict, and we decline to recommend prosecution for Mr. Biden in his retention of the classified Afghanistan documents. Then they talk about the notebooks containing classified information. FBI agents recovered unlocked drawers in the office and basement.
They could
Again,
have been locked, though. They could have been locked.
they might
That's
have
what
been
Biden
one
said. They
time.
could have been.
Evidence shows that he knew the notebooks contained classified information. He wrote down obviously sensitive information discussed during intel briefings. And while reading his notebook entries aloud during meetings with his ghostwriter, Mr. Biden sometimes skipped over presumptively classified information and warned his ghostwriter that entries might be classified. But at least 3 times, Mr. Biden read from classified entries aloud to his ghostwriter, nearly verbatim. Some evidence also suggests Mr. Biden knew he could not keep classified handwritten notes at home after leaving office. Mr. Biden, who had decades of experience with classified information, was deeply familiar with the measures taken to safeguard classified information and the need for those measures to prevent harm for national security. I think that's what you were asking earlier. Didn't he have
Yes.
some kind of duty?
Duty.
So,
Like,
yeah.
especially after the Clinton thing, that the Democrat Clinton thing and all the secret documents that were emails, and like that should have been like, hey, we're gonna do a refresher course for you Democrats not to fucking take these documents home.
Says, asked about reports that former President Trump had kept classified documents at his own home, Mr. Biden wondered how, quote, anyone could be that irresponsible, end quote, and voiced concerns about, quote, what data was in there that may compromise our sources and methods, end quote. While vice president, he kept his notebooks in a White House safe for a time, in contrast with his decision after leaving office to keep them at home in unlocked drawers. PB said, a vice president can be guilty of the Espionage Act. I do not believe the president can be. He has ultimate authority to make treaties and handle the military. Congress has some limited oversight.
Yes.
Point being, if the president says these documents are mine, then they are his. Yeah. I was kind of giving that to Biden because he's president now. So in my mind, I was like,
oh, she said about the ham
transferring.
sandwich was from the 70s on how corrupt New York's DAs could just indict anyone just for fun. If you scroll up a little.
Wait. The indicted ham sandwich reference was in the late 70s and in reference to the DAs in New York manipulating grand juries. Well, there you go. Han said, I would never have guessed that Nova didn't like Ricada.
Derek just didn't get the memo.
Biden's just a typical corrupt politician, a little more corrupt than average, like a corruption specialist. I don't know.
I think he's probably the most
Actually, I do
corrupt
know.
American in the history of America.
What?
I really do. I think he's 100% in bed with China. I think he will do anything that someone pays his son for him to do. I think the most corrupt in the history of America.
Wow.
More than Snowden, more than all of them.
Snowden?
Yeah, that's
Snowden's
what they got
not
him
on the
for.
list.
Treason and all that shit. And Chelsea Manning, was that the one who released the Iraq videos? Chelsea Manning?
Yeah.
That dude?
That guy, yeah. All right, keep going. When Mr. Biden left office, he also knew his staff decided to store note cards containing his classified notes in skiffs at the National Archives, and he knew his notebooks contained the same type of classified information. As he told his ghostwriter during a recorded interview, the same staff who arranged to secure his classified note cards, quote, didn't even know, end quote, he had retained possession of his classified notebooks, which now we're getting into the parts where it's more like he does know what he can do. He does know he shouldn't do it, and he knows that he's avoiding giving it to somebody.
Right.
So this starts becoming more like what Trump did.
Way worse.
Twice in 2017, Mr. Biden visited this skip to review his classified note cards while writing his book. Yet he kept his notebooks, which also contained classified information, in unlocked drawers at his home. He had strong motivation to do so and to ignore the rules for properly handling the classified information in his notebooks. He consulted the notebooks liberally during hours of discussions with his ghostwriter and viewed them as highly private and valued possessions with which he was unwilling to part. This is all bad.
The fact that you should keep this stuff in a skiff and only look at it in a skiff should mean it shouldn't be in a garage in a cardboard
That's what
box.
they're saying. They're saying, like, if he knew that his note cards should be in there and were in there, he's saying they don't know I had these, and he needs to access them so often during writing this book in 2017 in his Virginia house. It's retarded that they're trying to say that he didn't know that the Afghanistan paperwork were in there.
Right.
But whatever.
In the same document.
We do not, however, believe this evidence would meet the government's burden at trial, particularly the requirement to prove that Mr. Biden intended to do something to the law forbids. Consistent with statements Mr. Biden made during our interview of him and arguments made by the White House counsel and Mr. Biden's personal counsel, we expect Mr. Biden's defense at trial would be that he thought his notebooks were his personal property and he was allowed to take them home, even if they contained classified information. During our interview of him, Mr. Biden was emphatic, declaring that his notebooks are, quote, my property, end quote, and that, quote, every president before me has done the exact same thing, end quote. That is, keep handwritten classified materials after leaving office. He also cited the diaries that President Reagan kept in his private home after leaving office, noting that they included classified information. Contemporaneous evidence suggests that when Mr. Biden left office in 2017, he believed he was allowed to keep his notebooks in his home. Oh, wait, he is comparing himself to a president here. See, that's why I was getting confused. The president is allowed to do it. The vice president is not, right? Is that what the consensus?
I think they're just trying to throw everything at the wall and hope something sticks.
Oh, I think they're spraying the wall off with a fire hose. I'm hoping nothing's there when they're done. Contemporaneous evidence.
I just threw it in chat for people later. It's the same thing that Comey and Clinton had. She was guilty of everything. They found everything, and then he's like, "Well, I can't see anyone charging her. I can't see a jury finding her guilt." So she was guilty of everything they accused her of. And there's like, "Well, we can't think a jury would find her guilty because there could be a Democrat on the jury, and therefore we're just going to drop all charges."
Yeah, the same reason there's so many drug possession criminals are in wait. The feds have as high as 90% success rate on charges because they overcharge and most often have the subject plead down.
Yep.
Same reason there are so many drug possession criminals are in prison. Yep, and they only ever choose to prosecute things they know they can get someone or something on. They plead down for distribution and other charges. It's a scam. Never give statements to law enforcement.
Ever.
Yes.
Lawyer.
Ever.
That's why you say lawyer.
Yes. And they're going to be like, well, you seem guilty. Be like, or it seems like I know my rights.
Just tell me your side. You can go home. Just tell me your side of the story. You can go home. Lawyer.
Yeah, that'll take a long time. That'll take a while. If you just tell us real quick,
my lawyer will
don't
tell
you
you.
worry. Yeah. I would
you might
guess
have to sit in the cell for a day, maybe 2 days, but that's the best 48 hours you could ever spend.
2 days? There's no way.
Well, if you go to jail on a Saturday or a Friday night, you're going to wait till Monday to get bond.
I guess if they have a reason to arrest you.
Well, if they had the wrong thing.
I would guess the reason Biden had a special prosecutor at all is the criticism of an appearance of bias is easier to deflect if pursued rather than not done at all. In the end, it is a way to justify prosecution of Trump. Yeah. Plus, this is 388 pages. We're on 13, and I'm like, are we done? That's
what they're trying to do is just drown people
into
give
read
up.
This. Yes.
Right.
Clicking on Lick's Nova post will make you more retarded, chat. Just a PSA. I'm going to hire PB if I ever need a chat lawyer. Yeah, you could take PB. I'll take Naughty One. We got coverage. If you guys need.
I'm representing myself after I saw that guy get off a murder, the treehouse murder. Did it all by himself.
That guy was believable.
He was hilarious.
I saw him on stand. He was believable.
Do you think they're going to charge him again?
No.
Because it was a hung jury, right? So they have to be like, well.
I don't think they will.
No,
I think none of them want the spotlight on him.
Embarrassed. He was embarrassed on TV that he got beat by a non-lawyer.
The DA guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uncle Fester.
Okay. We have about just a few more minutes we're going to spend on Biden before we switch over to Gina because
time restraints.
As with the marked classified documents, because the evidence is not sufficient to convict Biden for willfully retaining the notebooks, we declined to prosecute. We also considered whether Mr. Biden willfully disclosed national defense information to his ghostwriter by reading aloud certain classified notebook passages to the ghostwriter, nearly verbatim at least 3 occasions.
So Mr. Biden
should have known, that by reading the unfiltered notes about classified meetings in the Situation Room, he risked sharing classified information with the ghostwriter. But the evidence does not show that when Mr. Biden shared the specific passages with the ghostwriter, that he knew the passages were classified and intended to share classified information. Mr. Biden's lapse in attention and vigilance is lawbreaking, you mean? Demonstrate why former officials should not keep classified information unsecure at home and read them aloud to others. But jurors could well conclude that Mr. Biden's actions were unintentional. We therefore declined to charge. I mean,
that's
This is retarded.
This is why civil war happens in countries, is because people just see the justice system as a joke and they're like, fuck it.
Mr. Biden's ghostwriter and destruction of evidence. After learning of the council's special appointment in this matter, Mr. Biden's ghostwriter deleted audio recordings he had created of his discussions with Mr. Biden during the interview of Mr. Biden's 2017 memoir. That's why I say he's not your whistleblower. He doesn't get in trouble for this because he also kept transcripts. And so he gave the transcripts over and his computer and everything. So they were able to recover the docs,
but he deleted the audio. So you delete.
They recovered it. They recovered it.
Oh, did they? Okay.
They recovered it, and it had some missing things just by the act of deleting. But because the transcript was verbatim, they were able to see any time that there was an error in the recovery. They were able to fill it in with the actual transcript. Yeah. So to think that he was also the whistleblower or the person who brought this to attention, that's why I find it confusing. But that doesn't mean in page 250 they don't say that. I have no idea. I never got that far. After telling the special counsel's office what he had done, the ghostwriter turned over his computer. Yeah, I already told you that. We considered whether to charge the ghostwriter with obstruction of justice, but we believe the evidence would be insufficient to obtain a conviction or therefore decline. While the ghostwriter admitted that he deleted the recordings after he learned about the investigation, the evidence falls short of proving beyond a reasonable doubt that he intended to impede an investigation with the intent, which is the intent required by law. In his interviews, the ghostwriter offered plausible, innocent reasons for why he deleted the recordings. He also preserved his transcripts that contained some of the most incriminating information against Mr. Biden, including the statements about the classified stuff downstairs. And the ghostwriter voluntarily produced to investigators his notes and the devices from which they were recorded. For these reasons, we don't think he's a bad guy. Legal framework governing classified information. That's probably where we'll learn how he should have locked the drawer.
Right.
We're going to skip. Personal counsel to Mr. Biden discovered marked classified documents at the Penn Biden Center. November 2nd, Patrick Moore reviewed boxes of material belonging to Biden, which were stored at Penn Center for Diplomacy and Global Engagement in Washington, D.C., an office space formerly used by Biden. During his review, Moore found documents with classified markings dating back to Biden's vice presidency. He notified someone, another counsel, who then notified the White House. That evening, the White House informed the general counsel. Okay. The next morning, the National Archives sent 2 archivists to retrieve the documents. This is who was trying to get the documents from Trump the whole time. The National
Archives, yes.
Mm-hmm. Upon review of the documents in a SCIF, they found 9 documents totaling 44 pages with classified markings. The documents classified up to top secret level and included codes indicating some of the information was sensitive compartmented information. The marked classified documents were located in 2 of these boxes, 2 of the 3 boxes, and 3 boxes contained records dating back from his time as vice president. So at the end here, at the very end, there's a letter that they included. Let me let this load. Here it is. They're saying, from the White House to the special counsel, Robert Hur, February 5th, we're pleased to see that after more than a year, you didn't prosecute our guy. But we want to add some bullet points to the shit you just read. 1, we do not believe that the report's treatment of President Biden's memory is accurate or appropriate. The report uses highly prejudicial language and describes in a commonplace occurrence among witnesses, a lack of recall of years-old events. Such comments have no place in the Department of Justice report, particularly one that in the first paragraph announces that no criminal charges are warranted and that the evidence does not establish Mr. Biden's guilt. If the evidence does not establish guilt, then discussing the jury impact on Mr. Biden's hypothetical testimony at a trial that will never occur is entirely superfluous. Whew. In fact,
so they're saying that go charge him because he's super smart and not dementia. Let's go charge him. Is that what the White House wants?
They're just saying you're being unintentionally mean to our favorite old guy in the White House.
You picked the dude.
Hey, Sparky. Good morning. One should also take it with a grain of salt when the statement contains sensitive information is offered. The intelligence community has hidden behind that for decades now.
Everything's sensitive.
That's true.
The date, the color of the pen.
Yeah, exactly. Everything. Especially, let's see. In fact, there is ample evidence from your interview that the president did well in answering your questions about years-old events over the course of 5 hours. This is especially true under the circumstances, which you do not mention in your report, that the interview began on the day of October 7th attacks on Israel. In the lead up to the interview, the president was conducting calls with heads of state, cabinet members, members of Congress, and meeting repeatedly with national security team. That makes it worse. He was handling fucking important events while he also couldn't remember yesterday.
Right. Or the date his son died.
Like 2017 is not long ago.
In dementia years, that's like a dog's life.
How does he remember anything that fucking Trump did then? That was all then.
Haven't you seen his cue cards? They have pictures on them. Orange band, dad.
The special counsel recognized the extraordinary juxtaposition of these events when he thanked the president for being here and making this time for us, given that there were a lot of other things in the world going on that demanded your attention. Subsequently, far from being hazy, the president proceeded to provide the detailed recollection across a wide range, often detailed recollections across a wide range of questions, from staff management of paper flow in the West Wing to the events surrounding the creation of the 2009 memorandum of the Afghanistan surge. Paper flow. What? He engaged at length on theories you offered about the way materials were packed and moved during the transition out of the vice presidency and between residences. He points to flaws in the assumptions behind specific lines of questioning. He pointed to flaws in the assumptions. Okay, so while they were asking questions, Biden was sharp enough to know that their questions didn't make sense.
Right, you're setting a trap.
It sounds. The president's inability to recall dates or details of events that happened years ago was neither surprising nor unusual, especially given that many questions asked him to recall the particulars of staff work to pack, ship, and store materials and furniture in the house in the course of moves between residences. The same predictable memory loss occurred with other witnesses in this investigation. Yet, unlike your treatment of President Biden, your report accepts other witnesses' memory loss as completely understandable given the passage of time. For example, you accepted without denigrating John McGrail's failure to remember certain events while he served as then Vice President Biden's counsel. Quote, McGrail's memory of these events could well have faded over the course of more than 6 years, noting McGrail's failure to recall even events despite emails that placed him at the center of various discussions. So, too, you accept the memory lapse of one of the president's personal lawyers who testified that in his initial search of the Penn Biden offices, certain boxes were stored in a locked closet, noting that his memory was fuzzy on that point. And the events of which you found his lawyer's memory to be fuzzy occurred only a few months before his interview, noting without comment the failures of recollection by numerous staffers. Your treatment of President Biden stands in marked contrast to the lack of pejorative comments made about other individuals. It is also in contrast to our own description of the president's responses on other subjects as clear, forceful testimony that would be compelling to a jury. So basically, they're like, why in the hell did you lambast the president so bad during this? Because we wanted to see it, or else we wouldn't think you were being serious.
Right.
But damn, so there are 5 points here, or
The White
even
House
more.
should just shut the fuck up. Be like, if we took him serious, then we'd have to charge this dude.
Yeah. It says there are a number of inaccuracies and misleading statements that could be corrected with minor changes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's just some bullet points. Let's see what the first one says. We considered the possibility, this is in the report, quote, we considered the possibility that Mr. Biden alerted his counsel that classified documents were in the garage, but our investigations revealed no evidence of such discussions because if it happened, it would be protected by attorney-client privilege. In fact, your investigation revealed no evidence of such a discussion because it did not happen, not because of any privilege. The president testified he was unaware that there were any classified documents in his possession.
No, he didn't.
You did not ask him in his interview or in the additional written questions if he had alerted his counsel about classified documents. If you had, he would have forcefully told you he did not. Anyways,
But he did know because he was referencing them with his ghostwriter when he was. He just let me check my notes, these classified notes here. Yeah, that's right. That's what I said.
Yeah. But they're saying that because it was so soon after he was present in this doc, they're saying it could have just, it wasn't, it didn't stick out as an event. In other words,
so they're saying you didn't ask him the question. That's not, you got something wrong. They're just saying you didn't ask him the right questions.
I guess, what does it say? While it is natural to assume that JRB put the documents in the box on purpose and knew they were there, in fact, there's a shortage of evidence on these points. We do not understand the basis for claiming this is a natural assumption. Thank you, Bob. Go fuck yourself, Bob. All right, so that's that. We're an hour into this. That's I can put this link in chat if you guys are interested in these pages. There you go. 388 of them.
Both, Sparky. It's whatever works in Biden's favor. You hit with that hammer.
All right, let's get into this Gina Carano. Actually, I do call her Gina Carano every single time in my mental.
Carino.
Gina Carano, but it's not. It's Carano with 2 A's. So, you know what's interesting? Let me go back to X. Will this take me to mine? I think this is going to take me to mine. We're about to find out together.
Come on, hamsters, run. There we
Oh,
go.
yeah. Okay, so here I had pinned this on November 30th. I also have Elon muted because he's annoying. If you were unfairly treated by your employer due to posting or liking something on this platform, we will fund your legal bill. No limit. Elon posted that August 5th, 2023.
And I think I listened to Gina talk with Glenn Beck this morning, and that she didn't reach out to Elon's lawyers. They reached out to her.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. A lot of people have an opinion on.
Yeah, no, she did an interview with Glenn Beck, like around that, and she said that it was they contacted her.
Oh shit, we're live. I should tell the people. We are live right now. Ooh, I didn't forget. Okay, so I did. This is why Elon's lawyers are Gene, Christopher, and Edward. This is why they're here, because Elon said if you are fired, lose your job for your speech, and it has occurred here on Twitter, I'm gonna pay for that. Good for her. Because
do you think Disney's going to let the go to Discovery, or are they just going to pay her $100 million and run away?
I don't think they gave him that choice, right? So, spoiler alert.
Well, no, they could try to settle before Discovery, but I'm just curious. Do you think they're going to try and avoid Discovery, or are they going to let fucking the lawyers go through all Disney's fucking internal communications of how they were fucking people over real bad behind the scenes? Like coordinated RICO collusion stuff behind the scenes. Because I think that's what they're more worried about.
That's a good question, but she's specifically asking for her role back. So it's not like she's going to settle for $1 billion bones if she wants to be in that role again. They're not really going to have a lot of choices. But yeah, I could see a settlement for sure. 1,000,000,000%. But Bob is like, he's doing the Ricada. I'm not paying attention to that. I'm just going to win. Just get away with that with me.
What lawsuit? I don't need. I'm so busy.
Is there a lawsuit? Yeah. Well, he's having a bad day. He's having a bad time in Florida, right? Disney's having a bad time in Florida, so
they're having a real bad time. Apparently, they want to buy Epic now, and no one knows where they're going to get that money from because they're like hemorrhaging money.
Wait, say that again. I was reading chat.
Disney wants to buy Epic Games for like $1 billion or $500 million, and nobody understands where Disney's going to come up with that money to do that. Because if Disney can't create, Disney has literally given up creating anything. All they can do is take old stuff, paint it with the woke brush, and put it back out there. So they'll find something successful like Fortnite, and they'll buy it, and then they'll put the Disney fucking characters in it, and then people won't play it anymore. They're like the Grim Reaper.
Epic is.
They killed Star Wars. They killed Indiana Jones. They killed Ghostbusters. They like.
Oh. And how much money does Disney have? How do you know that they can't afford it?
Because they've had to cancel their Disney cruise ships. They've had to cancel the expansion of a park. They've had to cancel like all these projects that they were gonna. Because remember, their streaming service was supposed to be like the grand poobah of revenue, and it turned out to be a massive $300 million flop. They're losing money on ESPN. They're losing money on like everything.
Didn't they just acquire ESPN though?
Yes, because they're trying to buy the competition because they can't produce.
They might lose money to start. Maybe that's why ESPN was selling. I don't know. I don't know the ins and outs of this, but it says that Disney made $1 billion. They make $1 billion bones a year, and they're worth 23 billion.
And think how much they're spending out. It's like all the movies they've been producing haven't turned a profit lately in the last like 5 years.
Is that true? Should I look it up?
Try me.
Disney.
I think Aquaman was a massive failure.
Profitable. This is from August 2023. I heard some
versus expenditures.
The 4 flops that cost Disney $1 billion. I'm looking for an article that makes sense. Oops. Disney has revealed that it spent $965 million on 4 of its most high-profile streaming and film flops this year. Disney has been on a cost-cutting drive since Bob Iger returned in November. 3 months later, he told investors that he needed to reduce costs.
She said 23 billion ?
23. That's what this says that their worth is.
Right.
Let's zoom in on this. What does this say?
If they sold all their holdings. But I think they're spending more than they're bringing in.
Ant-Man, Little Mermaid, Indiana Jones, The Dial of Destiny, and Secret Invasion. I didn't even hear
I
about
didn't even
one
know
of
about that
these.
one. That
This
bottom one I
cost
had
so
never
far
heard of.
$200 million, and I don't even know about
Well,
it.
look at
Is this
Aquaman.
about
They
Texas?
canceled Aquaman because of Amber Heard. They put
This
$100 million in that. And
Secret Invasion is about our southern border, I think. Although that's not a big secret. I don't know. Okay, so I don't know if they're losing money. Again, it sounds plausible.
that's in the legal mindset wheelhouse. He knows all about Disney.
Yeah, that's a good call, actually. If you guys are on YouTube, actually, I think he's here on Rumble too.
He's on Rumble too. Yep.
Legal Mindset is covering this. He did a hilarious thing. So he was part of LawTube before LawTube got too gay, and so he took himself out, which was definitely the move.
Smart move.
And
Smart move.
but he did pull these lawyers' opinions on Gina Carano, and it was really funny. I think two of them got A's, one got a B, one got a C, and then the rest
Two
D's and F's.
unknowns. I know you're not going to be happy with one.
Which one?
The swollen
Oh,
one.
I saw it. The fat cucked one. He gets. I
I
mean,
said
he
he
could
should
still be
be-
right.
I said he should be an S tier for swollen.
Aquaman wasn't Disney. That's DC, not Marvel.
Didn't Disney buy
Let's look it
DC
up.
and Marvel?
Aquaman. I don't know. It says DC Studios. Warner Brothers distributed. Anyways, you're wrong, and she's just called you out. Thank you, Witchy. I appreciate you. Okay, we do have to get into this lawsuit now. This is Gina Carano versus Disney, Lucasfilms, and Huckleberry Industries. She is asking for a jury trial.
Yes.
Complaint. Gina Carano files this complaint for relief against Disney, Lucasfilms. Here is the introduction. A short time ago, in a galaxy not so far away, defendants made it clear that only one orthodoxy in thought, speech, and action was acceptable in their empire, and that those who dared to question or failed to fully comply would not be tolerated. And so it was with Carano. After 2 highly acclaimed seasons on The Mandalorian as Rebel Ranger Cara Dune, Carano, oh, that's funny that her name matches. Carano was terminated from her role as swiftly as her character's peaceful home planet of Alderaan had been destroyed by the Death Star in an earlier Star Wars film. And all this because she dared voice her own opinions on social media platforms and elsewhere, and stood up to the online bully mob who demanded her compliance with their extreme progressive ideology. Defendants' wrath over their employees' social media posts also differed depending on sex. Even though the force is female, defendants chose to target a woman while looking the other way when it came to men. While Carano was fired, defendants took no action against male actors who took equally and more vigorous and controversial positions on social media. But the rule of law still reigns over the defendant's empire. And Carano has returned to demand that they be held accountable for their bullying, discriminatory, and retaliatory actions that inflicted not only substantial emotional harm, but millions of dollars in lost income. It's a federal case in California, and that's where they're at. Nature of the case. This is a civil action arising from defendant's wrongful termination of Carano's employment in retaliation for Carano's lawful exercise of her right to speak and express her views. Specifically, defendant, under the regime of former Disney CEO Bob Chapek, fired Carano because of her posts on various social media platforms, including X. Carano composed and published the posts while she was off duty and away from the workplace. In her posts, Carano expressed her personal political views, opinions, and beliefs. In retaliation for Carano's exercise of her speech rights, defendants terminated Carano's employment and took other retaliatory actions to limit and deny her future employment opportunities, including, but not limited to, making maliciously false statements about Carano with the intention of damaging her reputation and thus her ability to find and retain work. Further, defendants treated Carano differently than her similarly situated male co-workers who likewise expressed their personal political views on social media, but upon information and belief, were not counseled or disciplined, let alone terminated. Because defendants took action that harmed her in violation of the laws of this state, Carano is entitled to the relief sought herein. Carano is a citizen of Montana. Defendants, that's them. Factual allegations. 1. Carano's acting career takes off. Carano began her professional career as a successful mixed martial arts fighter before she was given the opportunity to try her hand at movies. Indeed, Carano is the first ever female star in MMA cage fighting to successfully transition to a career in movies, breaking down substantial barriers for women in the sport. Carano received roles in Hollywood and independent productions such as Haywire, for which she was nominated for a Critics' Choice Award for Best Actress in an Action Film. Fast and Furious 6, Heist, Deadpool, Almost Human, Extraction, Daughter of the Wolf, and Madness in the Method. I don't know these. On May 13th, 2008, Gina Carano was the fastest rising search on Google and third most searched person on Yahoo, while being ranked number 5 on Yahoo's top 10 influential women of 2008 list.
I didn't know that. That's impressive, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Imagine like you're the fastest rising search on Google. Like, what the fuck? How do you cash that check?
Really, right? And then she went from that to unemployable because of Disney.
Hidi said this is the gayest lawsuit intro ever. When Legal Mindset was talking about it, he said that they're encouraged to write these introductions in a catchy, playful, like memorable manner, and that's why they did this. So that this is something
though.
that
I like all the little innuendos of the Star Wars like sector written into it. I think it's neat.
Yeah, I don't.
If you don't know Star Wars, then it just sounds blah. But if you do know, you're like, oh, she used that phrase. Oh, there's that phrase. Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
It is nice because none of it is legal jargon. They're not trying to. They're just using. I don't know.
Sector,
it is. I guess it's
Star Wars sector jargon.
Yeah. In 2012, Carano was the first recipient of the Action Fest Film Festival's Chuck Norris Award for Best Female Action Star. Do you know why Chuck Norris has never got an award for his acting?
Because he can't act.
He's not acting. Those are real. It's all real. In 2017, Carano received the Artemis Action Warrior Award. 2019, she received the Rising Star at Ischia Film Festival. In 2019, she was selected for something else. Carano was employed by defendants effective September 18th, 2018 for the role of Cara Dune in the Disney Plus series, The Mandalorian. Defendants prominently featured Carano when promoting the new series as part of the launch of Disney's new streaming service, Disney Plus. Following is an example of defendants' promotional materials. So there she is. I guess if that's what you want to call prominent, she's literally on the side with half her body covered by someone else.
I think that black guy just died.
This one?
I think so.
Rip legend.
Like within the last 2
Oh, he did.
Minutes.
That's the guy with the wooden hand from Happy Gilmore?
Yes.
Yeah, he did die. You're right. Although her character instantly became one of the most recognized and popular characters in the series, Carano's master agreement listed her as a guest actor at the minimum salary of $25,000 per episode.
Episode.
That's a hard life. Carano, I know. So when they took it away, she's like, "Oh no. Well, this is going to be a problem." Carano fulfilled all obligations under the terms of her master agreement, and each SAG, Screen Actors Guild, American Federation of Television and Radio Artists high budget subscription video on demand. Holy balls, that's a long title. Minimum 3-day or weekly agreement. So her Screen Actors Guild agreement. Because Carano's contributions to the success of season 1 of The Mandalorian, her agent sought an increase in her pay, but defendants refused, instead offering her a one-time bonus of $5,000 and again the minimum $25 per episode in which she was to appear in season 2.
Does that mean
damn, I'd be pissed.
Does that mean everyone gets $25,000 per episode if that's the minimum?
Yes.
Holy fuck, movies are expensive.
Yeah. Carano again fulfilled all obligations under the... No, advertising is expensive. And so they have to... Well, they have to get the people in so that they can get the advertisers in
They get
because
the eyeballs, right?
I don't know. Carano again fulfilled her all obligations under the terms of her agreement. She was again instrumental in the success of season 2. In fact, Carano was responsible for over half of the talent engagement on social media related to season 2 by early November 2020. Indeed, on November 21st, 2020, Lynn Hale of Lucasfilms emailed Carano to congratulate her on the success of her first episode of the season when Carano's character made an appearance, noting, "Just wanted you to know that people loved the episode today, as we knew they would. Congrats." Sorry, what? When did
I
this
watched the
start?
first season of The Mandalorian. It was all right. And I hate the woke stuff, but I thought it was all right.
They're paying her $25,000 an episode, and she doesn't even appear until November 2020? What? The first season, on November 20, congratulated her on the success of the first episode of the season. Okay, when Carano's character made an appearance. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. Just as we knew they would. Congrats. On November of the year before, Jon Favreau, creator and executive producer of The Mandalorian, informed Carano that her life is about to change because Disney has approved a new Star Wars spinoff entitled Rangers of the New Republic that would feature Carano's Cara Dune as one of the lead characters. Lucasfilm President Kathleen Kennedy confirmed the production of the spinoff Rangers of the New Republic at Disney Investor Day in December 2020. Carano would have been a series regular on Rangers of the New Republic. The standard agreement for a series regular would have been comparable to what other Disney Plus actors received for other Star Wars spinoff, a contract for approximately 6 years at a base compensation rate of $150,000 to $250,000 per episode.
God damn.
Get the fuck out of
I'm gonna
here.
start
She don't
acting.
act that great. Holy shit,
She's got
that's
a
a lot
good
of
agent.
money.
Whoever her agent is, find them and hire them.
Oh my god.
Per episode. Times 10 episodes.
You remember Carl Weathers as the guy with the wooden hand from Happy Gilmore? Yeah, that's him. Okay, defendant terminated Carano because of her speech. We're finally getting into the meat. All of this came to an end on February 10th, 2021, when defendants announced through the media that Carano had been terminated from her role as Cara Dune and would not be hired for any other projects with defendants, all because she expressed her political opinions on social media. In announcing Carano's termination, Lucasfilm made the following public statement. Quote, Gina Carano is not currently employed by Lucasfilm, and there are no plans for her to be in the future. Nevertheless, her social media posts denigrating people based on their cultural and religious identities are abhorrent and unacceptable. Who did this? Made the following, just Lucasfilms. Okay. Gina is not currently employed by Lucasfilm and no plans to hire her in the future. Nevertheless, what she did is unacceptable. Got it. Defendant's statement characterizing Carano's social media posts as denigrating people based on their cultural and religious identities was false. It was also made with knowledge of its falsity, with the purpose of harming Carano and to distract from defendant's illegal termination and treatment of Carano.
Facts.
Defendants targeted, harassed, publicly humiliated, defamed, and went to great lengths to destroy Carano's career, all because she made political statements that did not align with what they believe was an acceptable viewpoint. Disney's then CEO, Bob Chapek, has been quoted as saying Carano was fired, quote, because she did not align with the company's values, end quote. In doing so, Chapek said those company values are, quote, values that are universal, values of respect, values of decency, values of integrity, and values of inclusion, end quote. Chapek's statement that Carano does not stand for values of respect, decency, integrity, and inclusion is false. His statement was also made knowing it was false and with the intent to harm Carano. But it also shows that Carano was fired not for her performance as an actress, but because her political opinions did not align with those of Disney management. Defendants also discriminated against Carano by treating her differently from her male co-stars, also who made public political statements on social media. Her male co-stars were not disciplined, let alone terminated in a way to destroy their careers, even though some would find their statements abhorrent. Defendants harassed Carano for her political statements, subjected her to vilification, and allowed other employees to harass her because of her political views. Yet defendants did nothing when her male co-stars made statements that many people would find equally, if not more, objectionable.
Yes.
Defendants retaliated against Carano when she objected to the harassment and efforts to force her to adopt positions against her conscience.
Pronouns.
In addition to terminating her, defendants refused to hire her for roles already promised, including but not limited to Season 3 of The Mandalorian, the new series Rangers of the New Republic, and planned future Star Wars full-length feature films, which have recently been announced, all because of her political beliefs and in disparate treatment from her male coworkers. Defendants' actions were calculated, malicious, and knowingly in violation of California law that protects employees such as Carano from discrimination because of the employee's political views and her sex. Female. Not lots of.
Uh-oh. Feminists. What are you going to do?
Carano exercises her right to express her thoughts on issues of the day, only to be harassed because she did not espouse a progressive orthodoxy. X is a social network platform, and Carano has had an X account since 2009. X allows its users to post content to see content posted. Follow. We know how this works.
Yeah, that's right, libtard faggot.
Pascal Pedro made similar social media posts that got Carano fired.
Almost identical.
I know, let's see, we're on page 11 in case I get lost. I know down here, look, we're going to see some of this.
Yeah.
So we'll be able to kind of look for ourselves. I haven't seen any of the comparative ones. I didn't even know that that was part of her argument until reading this. It says Carano used X to...
So when she says she wants her job back as the, like, for this, do you think that she wants her job back, or do you think she wants her money for all the episodes that she would have had? I don't think she wants to work again. I think she wants the money she would have got if she would have worked.
Well, we can let chat decide what they're saying, because she'll spell it out though in the end. She said, Carano uses X to express her views, opinions, and belief. She appreciates that X has never attempted to censor her speech, including the post which defendants subjected Carano to discrimination and harassment. Carano knows that she is responsible for the content of her posts on X. Similarly, Instagram is a social media platform, and she's been using it since 2012. While the incivility directed toward her started much earlier, over the summer of 2020, Carano was constantly harassed and bullied on social media to support various causes, adopt various ideologies, and hold herself out in certain ways in her social media profiles. When she declined, Carano was called all sorts of names, including that she was a racist for not publicly adopting the Black Lives Matter moniker and a transphobic bitch for not including pronouns in her profile's biography section.
Pronouns in the black square.
Social media users demanded that Carano publicly support the Black Lives Matter movement, including adopted their slogans, as noted in the following examples. Say all cops are bastards, please. Gina Carano, say it. ACAB stands for all cops are bastards, a sentiment with which Carano does not agree. This is not harassment, Ms. Carano.
No, apparently she didn't live in a gated community, and people were like showing up at her house.
So, I mean, okay, we might get to that, but this right here isn't, and this is in the lawsuit.
No, that's just fucking trolling. That's just,
this isn't, I don't believe, unless Rach and Sam are her, like,
coworkers,
HR department asking her to say it.
Yes.
That's the only thing what? You are racist if you completely ignore the BLM movement and don't support it. Being silent puts you on the side of the racists and oppressors. Same day, another post. Gina, if you're not racist, then show us. Support and donate to Black Lives Matter. Use your platform and voice to stand up against the police who are committing crimes against the people they are meant to protect. If 12-year-olds on Twitter can do this, you can too. The damn Boba Fett said that.
Yeah. The bounty hunter who will do anything for money. He's a hired mercenary. It's like, that's a wrong handle to do.
Look, Zuko Skywalker.
I wonder if these were coworkers or just randoms. You think they'd have to be connected to her somehow?
She's just calling them social media users. She's just showing that she was harassed for not putting her opinion.
I don't agree with that.
That has nothing to do with her job.
No, I think that's soft.
One user even went so far as to claim that the abuse was to educate Carano. These aren't trolls. These are people trying to educate you so you can get on the right side of history. Carano responded not with insults, but with an explanation of why the bullying needs to stop. For example, in my experience, screaming at someone that they are a racist when they are indeed not a racist, and any post and or research you do will show you those exact facts, then I'm sorry, these people are not educators. They're cowards and bullies.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Even when Carano explained she had no hate for anyone, people continued to accuse her of being racist solely because of her refusal to endorse the BLM movement. For example, my heart is filled with so much warmth for all of you. Just when you think the darkness starts closing in, all of you lit a candle to light my way. It really is incredible for people standing with each other, heart to heart. Believe
Oh,
there is hope.
maybe this is to show that even though she was getting all this right? Maybe this is to show even though she was getting all this hate, she was being professional and representing Disney with not being like fuck you back, being like, you know, well-mannered, spoken, like
Mhm.
upholding their views and their whatever rules that Bob said that she wasn't.
I see. Yeah, that definitely makes sense.
Maybe.
But this is funny. Imagine being racist. It's like I didn't read this. I just had this
Right.
one. I just came here to say this one thing. While defendants did nothing to support Carano, fortunately, one of her castmates did have the courage to stand up for her. Chris Bartlett responded to the controversy as follows. Standing, the original thing says, I am now more motivated than ever to spend the time I have on earth attracting my team from all different parts of the world. My energy goes to people who are focused on truth, love, and equality and freedom. Do not be afraid. Save the children, stand against oppression, and F bullies. And to that, her coworker said, standing with my castmate, Gina Carano, you'd love to know and work with this human. She's a beautiful example of humanity and kindness to everyone. Truth, equality, freedom, F bullies. Wait,
Did he
he
get
doesn't want to
fired?
save the children. Chris
Right. Did he get
Bartlett
fired?
didn't want to sign it. He doesn't want to save children. He got to go. Ah, Chris, thank you. Big hugs here, my friend. Mm, it had to be said. She's just
Purple heart
holding up
means she ain't gonna fuck.
scribbles. I hate the internet, but I love it at the same time. The stupidity of it makes me just giggle.
Giggle, right?
Other users expressed their support, noting the extensive and unfair abuse Carano had endured. We stand with you, Gina. Gina is being bullied and harassed by the SJW trolls. They're calling her a racist bootlicker, and depending she say all cops are bastards and Black Lives Matter to prove she's not a racist. Gina is having none of it, calling them cowards for trying to bully her off social media. I don't know if we can get too far into this.
Enhance.
Dear
Zoom.
trolls, psst. Oh, but make sure you keep checking in from all your other 12 fake accounts, cowards. You can't really
Maybe that's where they got her
see.
for being snarky and unprofessional. You called someone a coward.
Yes, these spades do not like their
Who doesn't
government
have
name.
black screen anyway? Who uses white Twitter? Come on. Dark mode. I don't trust anybody that doesn't do dark mode.
Let me just. Okay, good. I came over here to check.
Let's both end the fucking show. Chat.
Hold on. Who am I gonna agree with right now? The online abuse worsened when she encouraged standing up to bullies by sharing an article with a famous
morning.
historical photo. Huh?
I was just saying good morning to Charlemagne.
Oh, good morning, Shy. Night mode
Night
forever.
mode forever. See?
But she shared a historical photo of someone standing up to fascism. Heartbreaking and powerful story of a man who changed his ways for the woman he loved. Love changes the world one person at a time. Oh, look at him not doing the sim.
All the lefty saw was all the Nazi salutes. It's like, see, she's a Nazi. She's supporting the Nazis.
Like you won't say all cops are bastards, but you will say some Nazis are good. That's a problem.
It's good
Damn
people
it,
on both
Gina.
sides.
Yeah, but they also send the rapists. Carano was also attacked for questioning the strict lockdowns on businesses and churches, but not on protests. And as noted in the following September 5, 2020 post. Open up your businesses and churches. Put whatever regulations you want to put whatever regulations you want to because this is your right, but open them up. You're telling me COVID-19 knows the difference between a protest or praise and worship? I haven't even been to church in over a decade, but I sure would go now.
Ooh, you can't love
Oh,
Jesus. That's fucking offside.
yeah. That's a problem. The world is open, but no one is allowed to work. Working is a right you as an American have. It gives us purpose, focus, pride, and most importantly, a way to support the ones we love. People are dropping like flies from depression and suicide, overdose, murder. Enough already. And this
Facts.
is after the summer of love. This is September 5th, 2020.
Right.
Defendants made it known they did not agree with or approve of Carano's political views on the COVID lockdowns and vaccine mandates. Another source of constant harassment was the demand that she put pronouns in her profile. On social media, a user can create a profile that heads any post. A profile will include a name, even one that's not the actual user's name, a picture, and other information at the discretion of the user. One news report noted that the harassment became worse when Carano allegedly liked a post, not identified, that some claimed was not supportive of the transgender community.
Oh,
Quote, late last week, Carano liked a tweet on Twitter that allegedly mocked users who practiced this method of self-identification. However, as of writing, the tweet has been unliked and has yet to be specifically identified. End
oh, you
quote.
liked it
Oh, so no
once.
one can see it.
You liked it once.
I can't find the one that she supposedly liked, but it's out there. Some social media users denigrated Carano for simply not putting pronouns in her profile, such as one post on September 10. 50% of Hollywood wears masks and respects the trans community. Too bad you're not included in that.
The other 50% spells Y-O-U-R.
Yeah, we just learned that this is how Vince McMahon speaks, and this is inappropriate.
Don't be like Vince McMahon.
Yeah,
Spell
dude.
your words, folks.
The
Even
next
capitalize
day,
your eyes.
if you must. The next day,
Oh, I
another
saw that
user
one.
also criticized Carano for not listing pronouns in her profile. Hey, do you just not go by any pronouns? It's hard to tell.
Really?
But this again has zero to do with her work harassing her or any of
Nothing.
that.
Right. Exactly. Nothing. How
Like,
many of these Twitter accounts are listed here do you think are actually still active today? Or do you think they were all bots?
these people that are harassing her,
Yeah.
I think they're real. PB said, it makes sense to add all of that since even the smallest insult is considered harassment by the thin skin. You're right.
No, it's straight up violence. You can't even hurt a feelings now. If hurting feelings is violence.
Yeah. Gina, just so you know, pronouns are part of most languages, and putting them in your bio is just a decent thing to do. Your own coworker Pedro has put pronouns in his bio out of decency. So you liking
Pedro's
tweets
a
that
homo.
mocks that just sits wrong with many people.
He's a homo. He kisses men.
These people are fucking dumb. On or about September 12th, 2020, having had enough of the abuse that had been going on for some time, Karina put 3 simple words in her Twitter profile, a reference to sounds a droid would make: beep, bop, beep. Boop,
Hitler made
boop,
those
wait,
sounds when he
boop,
fell down the
bop.
stairs.
She left this up for a short time before deleting it.
Oh, see, deleting it is her. That was the coward. She should have left it. That's why I wasn't happy. Never fucking back down.
In doing so, Carano also provided an explanation for her previous response to the use of pronouns. Yes, Pedro and I spoke, and he helped me understand why people were putting them in their bios. I didn't know before, but I do now. I won't be putting them in my bio, but good for all of you who choose to. I stand against bullying, especially the most vulnerable, and freedom to choose one hundo. The response was swift, with many praising her for standing up to bullies and others accusing her of mocking transgender individuals. Yet those attacking her would not accept that she had been bullied at all. They just wanted her compliance. Then there were others who could not understand the controversy, as the following post demonstrates. Gina, not being coy, what is the woke world mad at you about? I'm looking at your tweets. Are they mad you called 2 women in a UFC fight ladies? Fill a brother in. Couldn't understand the controversy. Okay. But I'm just assuming that she's adding in the most egregious times where she was harassed.
I would assume.
I guess I'm looking at it from my lens where I don't find it harassment. She's using their games against them. Or if you find what I said harassment, look what they said to me.
Everything's violence. Everything's harassment, right? Like, So if you use the woke lens, then every time someone tells me that I'm not doing what I should be doing, I'm being harassed and bullied.
It presents the wider impact of her as a result of Disney singling her out in a negative light. The retard racist, far left, pedo sympathizing, violent communist extremists played all of them cards. They're done for them. They're done for. Got it. Pagliarulo is an idiot. I don't know who this is, I don't think. Hopefully they explain it to me. They're mad because I won't put pronouns in my bio to show my support for trans lives. After months of harassing me in every way, I decided to put 3 very controversial words in my bio. Beep, bop, boop. Not against trans lives at all. They need to find less abusive representation. That's funny.
How are pronouns a trans thing?
Well, because
like if I transition into a woman, what does it matter what my pronouns are?
The problem is you're going to look like a dude. So if you told me,
I put this makeup on. Well,
I'm just saying.
I have a beard.
I'm just saying. I think that I heard
a lot of women in menopause have mustaches. I don't know what you're trying to pull here.
But I did hear somewhere that like the assigning a pronoun when you're speaking is like, it's so fast. Your mind just is like this millisecond that it does it. So if somebody puts it out there,
if you can't assign a baby's gender at birth, how can you assign a pronoun?
What? Who said you can't decide a baby's gender?
Everyone on the left.
Well, I don't fucking listen to them. I want real talk. You
can't. Just because it has a penis doesn't mean it's a boy. I don't know if you know this. It's 2024.
I have heard about that.
And you have to ask permission to change the baby's diaper, or it's sexual assault.
But the reason it's trans is because those are the people who need it. That was your question, right? Why is this considered a trans issue? It's considered a trans issue because, of course, when you look at me,
so if you're not trans
person, you're going to see the wrong thing. I'm going to help you out by constantly reminding you that while you see he, I need you to say she, and that's all that is. And it's like, great. Whatever,
I'm
do
the same
you?
as libtard.
Making other people do it is just stupid.
Libtard.
My progressive nouns are Apache, attack, and helicopter.
That's how we identify.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be real, remember? It just has to
I'm
be
not
how
of this world. I'm not of this world. I identify as the chosen. Charlemagne, I'm with you. I'm with y'all. I don't think trans people, wait, what does it say? Carano remain consistent and respectful in explaining why she would not bow to bullies. For example, can you see how some would read that as mocking? I don't think trans pizza, my bad, people like all of you.
Freudian
I'm just hungry. That's all. It's all the butter in my coffee. Well, I don't think trans people would like, and all of you trying to force a woman to put something in her bio through harassment and name calling every day for months, such as racist, transphobe, bitch, weirdo. I hope you die. I hope you lose your career. You're fat. You're ugly. Yeah, right. And yet again, she explained, I know trans people wouldn't condone this harassment when they hear about the children, women, and men who have contacted me, thanking me for taking a stand against. I just saw that too. Taking a stand against these bullies because
Nates has a little eye.
She wanted them. We just can't tell. Because it affected their mental health to the point of near suicide at times. Yeah, that's happening. I know trans people wouldn't condone this harassment when they hear about the people who've contacted me, thanking me for taking a stand against these bullies. Oh, because they are also getting bullied in the same way.
Right.
That's true. It is nice that she's willing to, like, it's way harder to not do it than it is to do it. It's literally fucking 30 seconds.
Turn on the trans
it's
woke
7 keystrokes or however many you want to identify with. And she's just not doing it. And she's looking at $250,000 an episode in the eye and going, go fuck yourself. She could get it. 100% would. Even now, when she's fat.
Right.
Or allegedly fat. According to this message, whatever. I'm going to keep going. As if the above explanation were not enough, Carano made yet another attempt to counter the claims of her being transphobic. Here's the thing. Stop playing their fucking game.
Right.
Stop explaining. You can't explain this to them.
You can't. You cannot play the game. You can't drown a fish. Don't try.
Yeah, as soon as she did, beep, boop, beep. Now look, she's stuck in another fucking dumb
Another
game to
loop.
play with. Explain to the retards why you're not retarded. Good
Right.
luck. I want people to know that you can take hate with a smile. So boop if you for misunderstanding.
Because that was the old joke that everyone said, "Oh, the R2D2 swearing." Like, it's fucking doop, 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 doop. It's whatever your mind puts in there.
Choosy moms choose gifts. Trans pizza identifies as hamburger and fries. What is controversial about robot noises? Oblivion featured them often. Don't be fat, just be Ricada. The offensive part is she's basically saying like she dehumanized them because if the trans are using them and it's just people not understanding comedy,
I
not
bet
wanting to be
you,
funny,
if we
wanting
search
her
the
to
internet,
cook.
there's a gender or something now that is a beep, a boop, and a bop. Because there's Z's,
Right?
Zers, and Zems. So why not a beep, a boop, and a bop?
Mm-hmm. She should have just stuck with it and identified the shit
She
out of
should have
that.
just stuck with it, right?
Yep. Don't you beep. I'm a beep boop. What have you said to me? As soon as one of these retards goes to interview,
You're
I'd
a
be like,
fucking
I'm sorry.
boppist. You're a
You called me a
beepist.
her? It
You
literally says
beepist.
on my bio that I'm a beep
I'm a
boop,
boop.
and you just did this. What to me? You did. You dead nouned me.
Trans, yeah, it's my dead name.
You dead
My dead
noun.
gender.
Oh, that seems like a stretch. Random words are taken as intended for someone. Then it is filled with morons. Indeed. I stand with Gina. Coming from a trans person and hearing everything that was going on, none of you respected consent at all. Harassing an individual to do something and then get mad when they make a harmless joke about it is fucking childish. Gina, you're amazing. Also, transgender, you be you, beautiful. The mob will go find someone else soon. You are still my hero.
Where's Blair White's
Aww.
tweet? Where's Blair White's tweet? It's gonna be here somewhere.
It's a
Jumping
hit
on the
tweet.
bandwagon.
Okay, defendant engaged in harassment of their own. Defendants engaged in harassment of their own. However, like her online abusers, defendants were not satisfied. They subjected Carano to long phone calls demanding an explanation and criticizing her for not embracing what some see as mandatory solidarity with a vocal element of the transgender activist community. Even when she expressed that defendants' demands were excessive and asked for some time away from the constant meetings, defendants refused, demanding that she continue with her re-education program.
Yes.
What the fuck?
Oh yeah, she had to go through the commie gulag, sit in
I
front of the
didn't know
computer
that.
and watch. Yeah, oh yeah, they like the Jordan Peterson, how he had to be re-educated.
Look at this. What does it say? Neopronams, heebie-jeebies.
That's a
I
good one.
like that.
I like
That
that
made
one.
me.
I like
Yeah,
that
that's
one.
good. Oh man, yeah, I had no idea that they re-educated her, and she went to it. Damn.
Yeah,
Gina.
she should never have went. She should never have fucking bent the knee. Like she wasn't one of those people. She was trying to be nice. She was trying to play along. She was trying to play the game. When you play a game with a snake, you get bit.
And like I was saying, these aren't her employees that are in that
Now
she's
they
talking
are.
about.
So
But
these phone calls are, yeah, that's this HR going, you
well,
gotta, you
that's not
gotta
what I
bend
was
the
gonna
knee.
say.
You
I
gotta
was
play the
going
game.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna say that. I was gonna say that she isn't playing the game publicly with people that
Publicly,
have
right.
no, but when it comes to her employers behind the scenes, she's like, okay, yeah, I mean, I guess I'll
She's
take
doing
this
everything that
class.
she's been told to do by HR.
Yeah.
This is what I think this is
Defendants
what they were trying to get her on. Either you attend these or this is going to be our grounds to fire you. So she's like, I'm just going to go to the classes. I'm going to click the buttons.
Oh, this was her
Right.
first. This is like the warning.
Right.
The
Well, this is
warning
how they were
era.
trying to set a trap for her. So, oh, you're refusing to do this policy? Well, then that's going to be our grounds for dismissal because you refused to do the policy that everyone else agreed to. So she's like, fuck it, I'll do the policies. I
Well,
had
it's
to do
probably in
all
her
these.
contract. It might be in her contract that if we decide that there's a disagreement, then the first action would be this re-education.
Right.
What is
Corrective,
another word
what
for
do they call it?
concentration?
Correction modification or behavior modification?
We called concentration camps something else the other day.
Gulags.
No. They were like thinking centers, or what is another word for
No.
concentration?
Schools.
I don't know. Even so, okay, wait, did I miss this? Oh yeah, I'm up here. Defendants even required Carano to meet with representatives of GLAAD, Gay and Lesbian Alliance Against Discrimination. Libtarded has one. SAD, Super Straight Alliance Against Discrimination.
Super straight. Oh, that was a hate term, got you kicked off of Twitter if you said you were super straight.
Focus facilities. Thank you, Mr. Hideous.
There you go. That's it.
Re-education camp. Yeah, though that's what they're called, but that seems too obvious. We like focus facilities. It's like
That's what I
concentration
think. That's
camp.
what the Russian gulags were. It was for people who talk shit about the government, and the government would put you in the gulag. And look, you can leave anytime once you change your mind and think the way you're supposed to think. You can leave the gulag, and people would stay there for months. Like, I ain't changing my mind, and then they start getting hungry. Like, I'm gonna change my mind.
Mm-hmm. Cultural enhancement centers, focus facilities. Vicky remembers too. Yeah, that's funny. I
Well
can't
done,
believe I
Vicky.
never remember it. Yeah, good job, y'all. Way to come through for me. Thank you. So these are the GLADs, national organization that promotes the alphabet genders. Acceptance, something she willingly did. Carano had a very positive discussion with two of their representatives during a 90-minute Zoom meeting when
I hope
reviewing
she
several
recorded it.
documentaries they asked her to watch. Upon information and belief, the representatives of GLAD with whom she spoke provided positive feedback to defendants from their discussion. Even so, defendants continued to demand a public apology, finding the above social media statements insufficient. Defendant went so far as to try and convince Carano's publicist to force Carano to use a statement admitting to mocking or insulting an entire group of people, which Carano had never done. After she refused to issue the statement defendants demanded, the defendants rejected Carano's proposed alternative statement. Defendant increased their harassment. They increased their harassment on Carano. As a sign of good faith, Carano went to donate to a GoFundMe page allegedly set up in support of the transgender community. When she opened the link, she read that the fund was supposedly created by a Lucasfilm creative and was directly targeting Carano, defaming her by accusing her of being a bigoted actress. Accordingly, Carano did not donate. Oh, that's fucking way to go, you retards.
Right. They're actively working within the company to fucking correct her and outside the company to fucking correct her.
Right. She's like, fine, I'm gonna support them, but not in your way. I'm gonna do it my way. Transgender, support the transgender community. And she goes here, she opens it up. They're like, we have to do this because Gina Carano's a bigoted whore. She's like, oh shit, I'm about to give you 10 G's.
Right.
Jeez. Carano brought this to Lucasfilm's attention, who denied the GoFundMe account was established by any Lucasfilm employee. Shortly thereafter, the account was changed to call Carano ignorant, and the identity of the organizer was changed, no longer identify Lucasfilm's employee. To
Whoops.
Carano's knowledge, no employee was disciplined for their public harassment of Ms. Carano. Defendant nevertheless communicated to Carano's publicist that they were going to require Carano to participate in a Zoom call with Lucasfilm's president, Kathleen Kennedy, and I wonder what her middle name is. I bet it's Karen. With a K, though.
Right.
And 45 employees who identify as part of the LGBTQ plus
They
community.
were putting her in a circle and having them just surround and fucking berate her until she breaks down.
Wait,
Like,
is that what this says? It says Kathleen Kennedy and 45 employees who identify as part of the
all
community.
gays, not one other straight person.
She might have actually been all right to go here. Actually, they probably wouldn't have been. Because like she was saying before, most people in the community don't support this type of harassment. But since they're not just in the community, they're in the woke, politically correct sector.
I can tell you what all 45 of these people said. I felt my life was threatened when you said bebop boop. I had to hide in my basement under my desk because you said bebop boop. I almost killed myself because you said beep. That's what it is. It's going to be 45 of those trying to get her to just to break down and go, okay, bebop boop.
Going as far as to say that her willingness to endure such harassment and humiliation was a litmus test for her. Nice of them. The publicist was encouraged to explain that the group was a friendly group that wanted Gina to succeed, even though several had contributed to the anti-Carano GoFundMe account, including filmmaker Leslie Headland, who was scheduled to produce a Star Wars production.
This isn't looking good.
Non-binary, but the purpose was clear. Carano had to grow and learn, and defendants wanted to know where her mindset is currently with regard to the controversy over pronouns. Until then, they were not going to allow her to speak to the media or include her in any promotions.
She's not even allowed to talk
to the media on their behalf, like they're not giving her they're not sending her out. Carano declined to be subjected to a Zoom meeting with 45 other people, but did offer to take 5 or 6 to dinner so they could talk face to face. Defendants refused the offer. Given defendants' ongoing harassment, Carano let defendants know that perhaps she needed to get legal counsel to help resolve the issue. Thereafter, defendants changed course and decided to require Carano to take media training.
Okay, remember that
Oh
girl
my
lesson we just looked
gosh.
up?
Yeah.
If you were gonna take Gina and make her a woke, retarded lesbian, it looks exactly like it. Type her name in.
Okay, let's check into this. Let's see how close enough it gets.
It's so close. Like if you said AI, make Gina this.
Oh, you're right. Oh my god.
How did they do it? How did they pick a fucking like go to images and just scroll through and you can see how many look like her?
Did you see Josh Moon talking about how Bing is superior?
I did see that.
Yeah, that's true. So I knew about it before y'all knew about it.
See, I trusted Josh
Wait,
until that.
where am I? Images?
Images.
Yeah, yikes.
Can't see.
You can't see this? Oh, I'm sorry.
There we go. Does that not look like a Gina fucking Chinese knockoff? Wish.com version of Gina?
Ah. It's like if a trapped fart was a human, it would look like this.
You homophobic.
Nah, I don't think she's gay.
Yes, she is. She was part of the 45.
Oh.
She was the friendly 45.
The purpose was clear. Carano had to grow and learn. I don't want to comment on her. She probably
Quote
not
unquote
nice.
grow. Quote unquote.
Yeah, she has to
learn.
grow and learn when they want to know what her mindset is. Okay. She declined, wanted to take him to dinner. Given defendants' ongoing harassment, Carano let defendants know that perhaps she needed to get legal counsel. Oh, I read this too. How the hell did I get up here? And with the K, they want her to take media training. Libtarded faggot said sarcasm mockery is the best way to defeat the woke mind virus.
100%, which is why they're trying to make it illegal now. Because it's violence now. Jokes are violence.
It's funny though, because if you play their game, you get a lot of people on our side like hating on you. You're like, damn it, you don't even know what I'm doing. Leave me alone.
Right.
Let me do my thing. I'm not
Don't
trying to
make me
trigger you,
fucking
you
explain my
retard.
joke.
Yeah, I mean, you have to explain the joke. It's not funny, and then they'll get it. Anyways,
then they go,
accordingly. Oh, yeah, I knew that. Oh, but you said, trust me, I make Sparky explain his jokes too much. I'm guilty of this. I'm just saying, don't do it to me. Accordingly, by September 25th, 2020, defendants' harassment of Carano was in full swing by the launch of season 2 of The Mandalorian with the launch right around the corner. Carano endures more online bullying. She was also criticized for her post following the November 2020 elections. On November 5th, Carano made the following post that expressed the sentiments of many across the country regarding how the 2020 elections were conducted during the pandemic. Carano wrote, "We need to clean up the election process so we are not left feeling the way we do today. Put laws in place that protect the U.S. against voter fraud, that protect us. Sorry, I'm retarded. Investigate every state, film the counting, flush out the fake votes, require ID, make voter fraud end in 2020, fix the system."
The Democrats should agree with that on both sides, and the Republicans. There's no political bias.
Did she always have a scroll for her picture? Is that what that is? A scroll with a
No.
stick?
That must be new. Oh, that was probably after she took off her Disney face.
Oh, yeah. Okay. The social media backlash from those who do not share Carano's political perspective was swift and matched the incivility responding to her early posts. For example, one started with name calling. "Oh, you sad, pathetic idiot. Phil Jimenez, what's wrong with you? This is a lady."
He only got 42 likes, and she read that one. Come
40.
on.
I don't think I've ever got 42 likes. Leave Phil alone. Another suggested more drastic action against Carano because the user did not agree with her sentiments. Live view from Mandalorian writer's room. "Well, we're just going to have to kill her." Yeah, actually, when she demands to get back to the show, I was like, they're just going to probably do this.
Yeah.
Like, well, they're just going to write you. It seems like that would be easy, but then that would be obvious, and she was going to take him right back to court and be like, "Now I'm dead." What the hell?
Right.
That's obvious. You can't. So they're stuck with her like forever because she's playing their game. It's like any of you right now listening and you have a real job, get to the HR department on Monday morning and let them know that you identify as a trans, lesbian, black person or whatever is going to help you. And then when they get rid of you, you can be like, literally, I just told them 3 days ago that I was an LGBTQ XM, and they can't fuck with you because they don't know what to do with that. Yeah.
Right.
That's the game she's playing here, I think.
because they
That's why
can't
it
attack
feels
their
so
own.
soft. But it's like, yeah, but the rules are soft, so then she's playing it correctly. And then there was more false claims of racism, as noted in the following post. Just a beefy boy, XXX NSFW, beefy boy. This fucking screen name, you're gonna have to take this real
Is that
seriously.
Camelot's alter account?
No, he's fat. Just say you don't like it when black people vote and go. When a Republican something, what is that? A pig? Talks about voter fraud, they're just mad too many people of colors,
She didn't say
POCs
Republican
are
or
voting.
Democrat. She just said fair, clean elections. She doesn't even say which way she voted. She just said we want
Just say
fair,
you don't
clean.
like it when people of color vote and go. It's such a silly name. It's just a beefy boy. You have to tell people
Zero. It
that
didn't even get 1 like on it.
she might have screenshot this immediately when it came through. Lawsuit, you in it. As she explained, Carano was not trying to be divisive and respected the right of all Americans to vote for whomever they choose. Current thoughts? I feel nothing but love for my fellow Americans. So no matter who they felt in the heart, they needed to vote for. There you go. That seems nice.
So when Trump wins this next election, there's going to be no talk of voter theft and stealing elections at all, right? Because we settled that. It's impossible.
I don't know how they're going to play it, right? Because 2016, they were like, oh, Hillary Clinton should have won. And she's like, don't accept the results no matter what you do. And then that happens, and they're like, you can't say any of that. Huh? Who the fuck is supposed to say it? Who is supposed to say it? That's a real question I have. If the president can't say it, if the people can't say it, if the representatives can't say it, who is supposed to say it? Because we have a history of elections being fucked with. We looked at the Battle of Athens.
Huh.
We understand.
Gina's shadow banned on Twitter because I follow her and I haven't been seeing any of her posts. I just opened it up 15 hours ago, 5 hours ago, 3 hours ago. She's shadow banned on fucking X, and X is paying for her lawsuit.
Yeah, she just might not be all up in your algorithm yet, maybe. Because they don't show you everything. They can't.
Oh, I thought if you followed
everything.
them, it would just show up in your feed.
I think it's more like a Facebook timeline where they're like, based on what we think you'll like.
Oh,
Not based on everything that shows up. Because sometimes, when I'm on the PC, I think, and I scroll to the top, they're like, show 128 other messages. I'm like, well, why the fuck do I have to ask you to show me these? Just show them. I'm here. I haven't been here in a couple hours. It's strange. So I think they're showing you, you only have X amount of time. So if you're showing interest in most of this other things, then that is probably what's happening. I don't know. These are guesses. At no point did defendants defend Carano, but rather they continued to express dismay that Carano's political views did not match what they expected from their stars. Yet during all of this, as noted above, the fan reaction to her appearance in season 2 of The Mandalorian was a huge success. Oh yeah, she was badass bitch. Yeah. Defendants strike again. And I don't even like Star Wars. Mandalorian was the only thing I was down for, and both of badass characters.
I didn't want to, but I watched it and I liked the first season.
The problem with it is that, for me personally, as a non-fan, when they took off the Mandalorian's hat after I had learned how his face doesn't get shown, I was like, you can go get fucked. You know what I mean?
They're just trying to destroy the culture of everything that there was a history of. Superman's gay now. Like, everything's been changed.
Is that why they killed Iron Man? He was too Chad?
He was, too Chad. Same as, what was that one with the mushroom people?
The mushroom people.
There was like a deadly. They made The Last of Us, that series.
I don't know.
Did you watch that?
Mm-mm.
And they brought in the guy from Parks and Rec, and they made him gay. It was like, what?
I don't know. Well, okay. You're right. So what's the new movie that's coming out? Roadhouse. Have you seen this?
Roadhouse, yes. With
guess who's gonna be the fucking badass?
I already know.
Brokeback Mountain guy.
No, Conor McGregor.
Well, no, he's in it too. He's trying to make it not so gay. But the other one is the Brokeback Mountain guy. That's not.
I never saw, bro. I don't know who that actor is.
Gyllenhaal.
Oh, Jake Gyllenhaal. Okay. He was good in the movie Brothers. If anyone saw that, that was really good.
Isn't that about two bears? Isn't that animated?
No. It was. He went to war in He was married. Went to war in Afghanistan. Got captured by the Taliban. They assumed he was dead. So his brother was helping his wife get through the grief, and they fell in love and got married and had a
Oh
kid, and
my
then he got
God.
released by the
This is
Taliban.
fucking
He
awful.
comes home, and his brother's fucking his wife and has kids by his
That's
wife.
Jesus Christ. That's awful. That's bad. And forget that movie. You should all watch Four Brothers. It's none of that gay shit. Way better than whatever he just said. I don't even have to tell you. Okay, let's keep. We're halfway
Would
through
you
this.
leave your husband, or would you stay with the new? How do you do that?
Well, you know what? Just build a house next door. We're gonna fucking do this the old-fashioned way. It takes a village.
Polygamy.
Yeah, let's get to Utah quickly. Okay, defendants strike again. Even with Carano's star rising, defendants continued to harbor animosity toward Carano for her political beliefs. On January 8th, 2021, Carano was inadvertently sent an email by Lynn Hale of Lucasfilm explaining that defendants were consumed with some on social media calling for Disney to fire Carano. They monitored a hashtag, meaning
Oh, I
meaning a
wonder how
striking
many
of related posts calling on Disney to they monitored a hashtag, meaning a striking of related post. Oh my God, that's a string. Okay,
string.
a string of related posts calling on Disney to fire Carano. Okay, so they're explaining what this means to
I
people
wonder
who
how
don't.
many, if they go through the discovery and X can find out how many employees and members of HR tweeted out hashtag fire Gina, because that would be real bad.
Mm-hmm. Hale's email was the most recent in a string of emails that began with Disney CEO Chapek's statement on the events of J6. There was significant backlash to Chapek's statement, including harsh criticism of Disney for doing business with Carano, giving the country's extensive human rights abuses and internment camps for the indigenous Uyghur people.
That said China, not Carano.
Oh, thank you. I was going to say, no, this makes sense right now. Let me tell you. There was significant backlash for Chapek's statement, which included harsh criticism of Disney doing business with China, given the country's human rights abuses, internment camps. Okay. I thought they were talking about America. That's why I laughed. I'm like, okay. Internment camps for the indigenous Uyghur people. Am I saying that right?
Yeah, they're Muslims.
Uyghurs. Yet,
Uyghurs.
Uyghur. Yet, very directly, the focus of the emails turned to Carano as some on social media chose to insert calls to fire Carano in response to Chapek's online statement. Rather than focus on the criticism of Disney's business dealings in China, Disney instead was going to prepare a report on Carano, which Hale recommended, quote, start by saying that she didn't do anything to support the riots on DC, end quote. Of course, Carano had nothing to do with the events on January 6th. Oh, shit.
We just got to link her and cover in this mud too. We're going to cover in all the mud so everyone hates her, and then we look good.
Assholes. It was apparent that Chapek and his team were looking for ways to deflect from their failed leadership at Disney as Disney CEO, a pattern that included his obsession with an ultimate termination of Carano, his subsequent failings in Disney's contract dispute with Scarlett Johansson in July 2021, and political missteps in the criticism of Florida's parental rights and education law, all leading to his termination in November 2022. On January 12th, 2021, Carano posted an interview she gave where she was asked about the controversy surrounding her social media posts, an interview that clearly demonstrated that she was not seeking to denigrate anyone, but chose to speak up because there was a large group of people that were being silenced and that conversations were not happening, and because of her belief that discussion is good. She was not seeking a political platform, but believed that discussing issues makes everyone better. She also understands that simply speaking up made her a punching bag.
Right.
Hope you enjoy listening to this interview with all the disinformation. It's nice to hear from someone's own mouth. So that is her. The Federalist posted it. It's called Mandalorian Star Gina Carano takes us behind the scenes, explains her politics.
And she did one on The Blaze with, what's his name? The white-haired dude. Who owns The Blaze?
I forget. I know who you're talking about. Yeah, I see his face. All this occurred while Lucasfilm was publicly supporting Christina Ariel and her declaration that all white people are racist.
Whoops.
Yikes. Indeed, defendants have publicly claimed that people should speak their minds based on their conscience. Of course, when Carano did so, defendants targeted her because her conscience did not align with their ideology. Star Wars, January 18th, 2021. There comes a time when one must take a position that is neither safe nor politic, nor popular, but he must take it because conscience tells him it
That's
is right.
exactly what Gina did. Weird that Star Wars tweeted it out.
That is weird.
So it can't be against company policy if the Lucasfilms tweeted it out too.
But this is also Martin Luther King Day. So they're quoting him because it's a weird one to pick considering what they're doing to her. But yeah, this is also Martin Luther King Jr.
saying,
Day.
Say what you think's right, even though everyone else is against you. Just you got to speak your conscience.
I mean, I think On February 10, 2021, Carano made the following post in light of the trending Fire Gina Carano hashtag to highlight the injustice of the mob seeking to destroy someone because of their political beliefs. This is in her story. This would have deleted in 24 hours and never been seen again. But she wrote was, Jews were beaten in the streets, not by Nazi soldiers, but by their neighbors, even by children. Sad face. Because history is edited, most people today don't realize that to get to the point where Nazi soldiers could easily round up thousands of Jews, the government first made their own neighbors hate them simply for being Jews.
Right.
Now, how is that any different from hating someone for their political views? And there's a sad picture of...
Because people don't realize Germany didn't hate Jews before Hitler. Everyone got along. Germany had Beethoven, all like the greatest art. This is like the Enlightenment country in Europe back in the day. And then Hitler got power. He's like, how can we fuck this? We got everybody to turn on each other. We'll have parents, neighbors ratting on each other's neighbors. Kids will rat on their parents. And then we'll only have people left in society who agree with us, which is exactly what the wokies are doing today. They don't even realize they're using Hitler's playbook.
Or they do.
I
think the powers that be are, like I said, both sides are just pawns. The powers that be know exactly what they're doing, and if they can get the Democrats to do it, well, then yeah, if we can get the Republicans to do it in 20 years, then fuck it, then they're the ones saying our thing. Someone's going to be their puppet, but most of them, it's everyone. Just sometimes they're saying the right thing loud enough. But part of the game is the division, and so that's why there are two sides, and the illusion of choice exists. Carano made no mention of a political party or a particular point of view and compared no one or group of people to the Jewish people during the Holocaust. Rather, she noted the danger that arises when one point of view is singled out for harassment.
See, Gina was talking pre-Holocaust. This leads to a Holocaust, and this is what we're happening now. And they all want to say, oh, she's trying to degrade the Holocaust like it was no big deal. Like, no, it's not what she was saying at all.
Yeah. Nevertheless, the apoplectic? I don't know. I'm not sure I know what this word means.
No.
Translate section. Copy. I don't know if it's going to let me. I'm just going to put it here.
I want to say apocalyptic, but that's not right. There's
no overcome with anger, extremely indignant.
Pissed off. A pissed off response.
The response from some of social media had been well documented and shows a gross overreaction and intentional smear campaign against Carano. Indeed, one analysis of the social media events on February 10th concludes, quote, Carano's contested posts can be fairly critiqued as heavy-handed. Still, evidence has not come forth that Carano in any way emitted an iota of the hate or vitriol that was projected onto her by the persecution mob, end quote. Indeed, the Auschwitz Museum even notes that the persecution of the Jewish people began long before the concentration camps, a concept that defendants refused to acknowledge even as they twisted and misrepresented Carano's post.
That's what I just said.
When we look at Auschwitz, we see the end of the process. It's important to remember that the Holocaust actually did not start from gas chambers. This hatred gradually developed from words, stereotypes, and prejudice through legal exclusion, dehumanization, and escalating violence.
Jews are allowed to walk through town. They just have to put that gold star so we know who the Jews are, so I don't sell to them if I don't want to. That, it started small. Vaccine passport. You can come into the store if you get your passport. Otherwise, we're not selling to you.
They don't want you to remember that part. Even Carano's male co-star, the late Carl Weathers, posted the exact same message, but no action was taken against him, nor was Weathers accused by defendants of denigrating people based on their cultural and religious identity. people.
He had a black card though.
Well, they also decide that, for the record. Who gets to decide what is appropriate for me or my children to read? The Nazis knew how to both control and to eradicate. Interesting playbook to emulate. What's next? Who's next? Be
Well
peace.
said. Well said.
Yeah. Barbara Hirsch posted a picture. It says, it didn't start with gas chambers. It started with one party controlling the media, one party controlling the message, one party deciding what is truth, one party censoring speech and silencing opposition, one party dividing citizens into us and them and calling on their supporters to harass them. It started when good people turned a blind eye and let it happen.
Exactly.
Amen, Barbara.
Exactly.
Or whoever said that.
Just think if the racist used the censorship during Martin Luther King's days, black people never would have got freedom or anything because you could have just censored them all. Oh, you can't say that. You can't say that.
Mm-hmm. Defendants' disparate treatment of Weathers further demonstrates their discrimination against Carano on the basis of her sex and or political views. Indeed, when he made the same generic statements, Weathers' comments were interpreted to attack Republicans, so he was given a pass by defendants. Yet defendants, rather than come to Carano's defense, proved her point by joining the unhinged mob and not just terminating Carano for the views expressed in her post, but accusing her of the very things she fought against, the denigration of other people. Contrary to defendant's statement, at no point was Carano denigrating other people based on their cultural or religious identities, as Lucasfilms claimed. Rather, she was doing just the opposite, opposing such denigration and targeting of people just because they hold different beliefs. In fact, Carano constantly called for respect and decency when speaking with people, and for respect and decency to be shown, as she did when discussing important public issues. She had always held herself out as a person of integrity, and those she worked with can attest to this. She always treated people she met with kindness and compassion, as the Mandalorian staff can confirm. Nothing could be more inclusive or representative of the values Chapek claims defendants stand for.
True.
Defendants did not even have the courtesy to inform Carano of her
this is fun.
termination in person before announcing it to the press.
Did you know this?
No. Ironically, Carano first learned of her termination by reading about it on social media.
She was
on
tweeted.
Twitter?
Yeah, they didn't call her up, say, hey, we need to have a meeting. Like HR, I think isn't that against the law in California? You have to like be sat down and like, no, she saw on Twitter that she was fired. She's like, what? Huh? And she picked up the phone and had to call, like, what's going on? Like, oh yeah, you're fired.
I don't think it's a law that they have to fire you in person, but if they fire you and you have payment due, they have to give it to you at that time. So that would have been part of it. I don't know how it works when you're in contract like this. It would have to be your termination would need to be accompanied by any funds.
Wouldn't there be like a Privacy Act violation for everyone knowing that you were fired before you?
Nah, there's no privacy. That seems weird.
That your employer could publicly fire you and not tell you, and you're like just walking around thinking you have a job?
Like I said, I don't know. I don't know what the ins and outs of her contract was. If you get fired and they owe you money, then usually they sit you down, give you your check, and tell you you're fired.
Right.
Bye, collect your things, and then you can be gone. Then we're basically severed our relationship then. So I don't know. But
I don't know.
like,
I think it's a privacy thing. I don't think you can publicly fire somebody without telling them first.
Why?
I don't know why. I just think that's.
It seems silly to me.
I don't know why it is.
We have great employee in California. We have great laws like to cover employees. Whenever I talk to other people, like even just my sister in another state, I'm like, I don't know, man. In California, you've got this covered, you've got that covered. There, But again, I don't know how her contract was. I don't know how it worked for her. But none of my understanding of California employment labor law says that you have some right to privacy from social. Like, I don't understand that fitting into it, even though I'm trying to mentally make it work, if that makes sense.
Yeah, the PB said it's mostly depends on the contract she wrote, and the federal doesn't matter because it's all state for this case.
Defendants, as a result of defendant's statement, Carano was inundated with stalkers and media hounded her at home. It became so bad that she justifiably feared for her personal safety. In addition to being terminated for her role in The Mandalorian, defendants canceled production of Rangers of the New Republic, refusing to hire her even though she had been told the role was hers. Further, prior to her termination, Carano had been told by Jon Favreau she was to be part of this new series in Star Wars based on the various Star Wars Disney Plus series to be released in theaters in the near future. Group of movies which included the recent announced movie based on The Mandalorian. To this day, when someone wishes to attack Carano's appearance at any event, they frequently cite defendant's statement at the time of her termination and repeat the false accusation that Carano denigrated people based on their cultural and religious identities. Such decisions, including the harassment, targeting termination, and post-termination smear campaign, were made with the knowledge and approval of those who qualified as an officer, director, or management agent of each defendant. While I was reading that, I had the thought, dude, Roseanne should interview Carano, because Roseanne
That would be a good
let it
interview.
happen. She's like, fuck this, I'm too old, fuck all y'all, you're retarded, and
Right.
walked away, and she is coming back. I guess walked away is not the way to look at it,
I
but
think I watched an interview.
Hollywood-wise.
Roseanne said she walked away because she was worried about all the people who's working on the shows,
Yeah.
jobs and their families and their paychecks. So she's like, well, I'm going to spare their families and I'm just going to, I think that's what she said.
Yep, but so this is somebody who decided, I don't know, their stories are parallel in a lot of ways. One, they just went different ways at a certain point. Age obviously had something to do with it. Reputation not being able to be destroyed at a certain age. Like, it'd just be a great interview to hear.
Right.
Okay, this is the post-interview smear campaign. By way of example of the post-termination smear campaign, prior to her termination in November 2020, Carano filmed an episode of Running Wild with Bear Grylls, an adventure program that aired on Nat Geo, owned by Disney. Following her termination, Disney surreptitiously removed the episode of Running Wild that showcased Carano from the show's scheduled lineup, all in an effort to malign Carano and deny viewers the ability to see who she really is. Yikes. After protests from fans and intervention by Bear Grylls to have the episode run as scheduled, Disney did show the episode with Carano on May 10th,
I'm going to have to go find that now.
Oh, damn. Nice little grift in that in here. However, even though Disney ultimately aired the Running Wild episode with Carano, they removed all mention of her name or likeness in any production material or even listings of the episode. Ooh, let's see.
Guess I'm going to have to search for it.
Refuses. Here's the let me see what this one shows us. This is their it's an ad. I'll just
Drunk 3PO.
I'm just gonna put that in chat. That's the link that they added to 2 years ago. Disney refuses to use Carano's name in Bear Grylls episode. Okay,
I'll bring it up, see what it says. 8 minutes long video.
It's just going to be proof. All they're just showing is where they got this idea from. Even so, Carano's co-star Giancarlo Esposito was asked in The Mandalorian, who is your favorite coworker to work with? To which he replied, my goodness. Okay, so you're asking me for one. Yeah, I have to say, and this may be, well, okay, I'll say it without hesitation. Gina Carano. Aw. In September 2021. That's why I always tell my kids this. There's two things that once you fuck up, it's really hard to get back. One is your credit and one's your reputation.
Right.
So like guard those a lot, because there will be times where everything is against you and you're going to need to fall back on something.
Morals.
And if you've got good credit and good reputation, you're off to a really fucking good start. In September 2021, another co-star, Emily Swallow, described Carano as follows, quote, all I can say is that Gina, and working with her personally, what impressed me about her from the beginning is that she is so interested in other people's opinions and so welcoming in other people's opinions. She wants to have a genuine dialogue. She's just like that in her day-to-day life. On set, she's more curious about other people. She's very giving. She's very gracious, end quote. Another of Carano's co-stars, Bill Burr, came to her defense after her termination, saying the following, quote, she was an absolute sweetheart, super nice person, end quote. Even Forbes found defendants' justification for Carano's termination baffling and unjustified, noting that 72% of people surveyed disapproved of Carano's termination when they saw the actual post that apparently promoted defendants' decision.
Oh, really?
Because her post noted the dangers of targeting people for their beliefs. The irony is fucking wild. The goal, really. A social media post from Carano's co-stars. Carano respected the rights of her co-stars to express their views on social media, even if they differed from her own, and she remains personally fond of each of them. However, defendants' treatment of Carano stands in stark contrast to defendants' embracement of her male co-stars and other male employees, so the following examples are provided to demonstrate the discriminatory treatment Carano endured at the hands of defendants. One of Carano's co-stars was Pedro Pascal, a male actor who played the role of the Mandalorian. Oh, that's that guy. The first,
Yeah,
okay. Pascal was active. Pascal. How do we say this?
Pascal.
Pascal was active on social media, often expressing his views on the BLM movement, LGBTQ plus rights, protests for abortion rights, and the 2020 election. For example, on September 28, 2015, Pascal made the following post drawing a clear distinction between himself and conservatives. He said, conservatives use gossip columns and headlines to manipulate city politics in the 40s, and it worked. Let's be better than them.
And now what
Conservative
does the left
used
do?
gossip columns and headlines to manipulate city politics, and it worked. Let's be better than them.
That was in 2015, though. Does that count?
I was going to say this might be song. Who knows when he started working for them, I guess. I don't know that answer. If he's
He gets
working
his
for
dues.
Disney, he's got the devil horns and this child in his photo. He needs to go.
He's one of
On
those.
August 16, 2017, Pascal made the following post comparing President Trump to Hitler. What? Oh, 45. This is clever. They're getting more clever.
They're
Let's see what
trying.
they did
Yeah,
here.
they're hiring some right-wing people to do their memes for them because they couldn't meme for like 10 years. And you would think the left are the creative, artsy types. You think they could like meme better, but they just have no sense of humor.
Nazi sympathizer, our president, 45. Please, someone explain. Okay. The 2017 post was not the only time Pascal compared President Trump and those who voted for him to Nazis.
So if Gina called Biden a Nazi, that would have been right.
Oh, I don't know. On June 2018, Pascal.
Oh, he's got his pronouns in his bio. He can say anything he wants.
Yep. Compared the U.S. response to those entering the country illegally to the concentration camps of Nazi Germany in the following post. This is America, Germany, 1944. America, 2018.
Not even close.
Not even close.
The Jews
right?
were rounded up at gunpoint. The Americans, they crossed the border illegally and got arrested. A little bit of a difference. 2018, they're going to put them in a bus and send them back or send them to New York. The Jews weren't getting bussed anywhere good.
Again, on November 7, 2020, Pascal made the following post, only to delete it shortly thereafter. Losers in 1865, Confederate flag. Losers in 1994, Nazi flag. Losers in 2020, MAGA
45.
flag. Did I say something else? Whatever it is.
94.
My brain is done, gone. Oh, wow. So Pedro Pascal is trying to hide his hate by deleting this pic from his IG after somebody made a video talking about it. The internet is forever. Sorry, check it out.
Ever?
Loser. Yep. So
that can't be for Disney's HR. Wouldn't like that, would they? But they support that, so it's okay. As long as you do what Disney hates, then jump on the hate train.
Defendants did not comment on, let alone condemn Pascal's social media comments. How do they know, though, he's not getting like that shit behind the scenes, retrained or whatever? Focus facility.
Disney did not comment on it.
Oh, okay.
Not Pascal. They don't give a fuck about him.
On June 27, 2020, Pascal posted 2 Disney-owned Muppet characters, Bert and Ernie, as activists waving a transgender and LGBTQ plus pride flag and promoting BLM and defund the police.
Copyright strike.
This stuck. They done made you in on it. Upon information and belief, Pascal was not disciplined, required to review documentaries on any of the topics or speak to individuals with contrary points of view or pressured to apologize to for any of his posts. His employment was not terminated, and defendants made no public statements about his social media posts, much less refer to them as abhorrent.
Can you imagine if 45 straight people sat you in a circle in the head? This is wrong. You can't do this. We're straight.
Weird. Likewise, Star Wars star Mark Hamill posted his comparison of Americans who supported President Trump with Nazis in the September 18, 2022 post.
I think he's
I
probably the
do not
craziest
see a
one.
thing. What do you see? I do not see a thing.
They're praying.
They're pointing. Are they praying?
I think they're praying. And he's trying to say that they're
They're
doing the Hitler symbol.
pointing. When we used to sing for our alma mater in high school,
Yeah.
we used to
Oh, do
point.
you? Well, I know a lot
That's
of
the only
churches
time
I've
I've
been to,
ever
they do the
pointed.
prayer where they just hold one hand up and put their head down and do the
Holding one
wave.
hand up is different than this. These are all just pointer fingers. What is this?
Could be a middle finger if they put a picture of somebody on the screen they didn't like.
No, that's weird.
I mean, zoom in.
Okay, this, of course, is nothing new for Hamill, who from 2016 described Donald Trump as Vladimir Putin's puppets and the KKK's candidate.
Like, that's crazy. So if you're Disney, you're supposed to try and bring in people from the left and the right to watch your stupid fucking film. And if you got Mark Hamill calling everybody on the right KKK, that's degrading your fucking market value by half.
Yeah, unless your data shows you that most of your people are woke faggots.
You think
That are gonna
Disney?
eat the
I
soup.
don't think Disney shouldn't care about politics because they're targeted toward kids, and kids don't give two flying fucks about politics.
Except for that is their product, and they
now,
need an ESG score and
right
to
now,
get loans, and so of course they care. I don't know now. Now we know about it.
No, when it
Hamill,
was Disney, when it was Walt Disney's, he was like the anti-woke. He was against the Jews and he was against the blacks. And
see, that's like the pendulum. It just swings too far in
way
either
too
direction,
far,
and
right?
it's like, okay, you guys, can we not see that it's too far this way? Let's just stop. Holy shit!
Like, no,
Because
my
once you go too
feelings.
far,
Whack.
well, that's what she's doing here. She's hitting them with their own bullshit.
Right.
Sexual harassment, or not even sexual, gender harassment, whatever it's going to be called. We'll find out soon.
Beat them with
Hamill
their
has
own
gone,
stick.
yeah, that's what she's doing. Hamill has gone so far as to compare Trump to the Third Reich without a word of protest from defendants. It's not an official former guy item unless it contains at least one misspelling and or Third Reich imagery. This is obviously official. It's not an official former guy item unless it contains at least one misspelling and or Third Reich imagery.
The bald eagle's the American fucking bird. Just because Germany used the eagle. So now all eagles are bad. All eagles are racist. Hashtag not all eagles.
Hashtag Taylor Swift saved the NFL. That's my favorite thing this week, so I can have their eagle. Defendants did not comment on, let alone publicly condemn Hamill's social media comments. And unlike Carano, when Hamill was accused of liking a transphobic tweet, his explanation was accepted without question. Ignorance is no excuse. Wait, so the J.K. Rowling, dress however you please, call yourself whatever you like, sleep with any consenting adult who will have you, live your best life in peace.
Kids can have sex too, you know. That's Mark
What?
Hamill's defense. That's what Mark
Oh.
Hamill's mad about.
Live your best life in peace and security, but force women out of their jobs for stating that sex is real. I stand with Maya. This is not a drill. Mark Hamill, why did you like this transphobic tweet? Ignorance is no excuse, but I liked the tweet without understanding what the last line or hashtag meant. It was the first 4 lines I liked and didn't realize it had any transphobic connotation.
But beep bop boop is fireable.
But force women out of their job for stating that sex is real?
For saying there's only 2 genders.
No action was taken against Hamill. On the contrary, he was allowed an appearance on the closing episode of the 2nd season of The Mandalorian. Defendants even rehired Guardians of the Galaxy director James Gunn, a male, in 2019 after terminating him the year before for social media posts years earlier said, quote, I like when little boys touch me in my silly place, end quote, end quote. The best thing about being raped is when you're done being raped and it's like, whew, this feels great not being raped, end quote. And The Expendables was so manly, I fucked the shit out of the little pussy boy next to me. The boys are back in town.
Oh, go down the James Gunn rabbit hole. It's crazy. He's full pedophile, still employed, still fucking everything. Yeah. His are crazy.
Okay, we got to this part. First claim for relief, wrongful discharge, California Labor Code. So wrongful discharge under the California's employment laws. Carano alleges that she was, we already know this, we already read it, why she was wrongfully discharged. What else is she charging them with? Second claim for relief, wrongful discharge, refusal to hire. Carano re-alleges everything we already read.
She was promised a new job and they didn't give it to her.
Oh yeah, that's what this is.
The Mandalorian season whatever spinoff.
Third claim, yeah. And the next movie. Third claim for relief, sex discrimination. Again, California Code, because she was treated differently than the male counterparts.
Right. Pedro was allowed to say the things that she couldn't say.
Well, that eagle is a specific one, Charlemagne said.
Prayer for relief. I'm surprised this isn't fucking stricken from the record. You can't say prayer.
It is sex. There are two sexes. Gender is not a thing. You're using the term the communists allow. Forever 21 genders. One of the first rules of battle is to determine the battlefield and not fight on the one the enemy has chosen.
Right.
They choose it for a reason. So here's her prayer for relief. This is what she wants. Preliminary and permanent injunction relief requiring defendants to reinstate Carano to her prior position with no loss of pay or benefits. Yeah, so back pay.
Give me all those episode monies.
Yeah.
I don't think she even cares if she's in the episodes. I think she just wants the episodes' money. Because Disney's never going to put her face back in them.
You think?
They would.
What was her prior position? Reinstate Carano to her prior position.
As the character in The Mandalorian.
So if they, okay, how did they get rid of her in the? Did she just never show back up one day?
I think they just wrote her out or killed her, or they just put the mask back on so you couldn't see it wasn't her. Maybe, I don't know. I stopped watching after they did that shit.
Oh, so basically this makes sure that they can't use Cara Dune for anything else unless they use her in it, Carano in it. Maybe. A judgment declaring that defendant's termination of Carano's employment was unlawful and a violation of the law. Compensatory damages, including but not limited to the loss of pay from the date of termination to the date of the reinstatement, amount to be determined at trial much more than $75,000. Compensatory damages for loss of future employment. Emotional distress. Punitive
Apparently
damage.
she said she lost her hearing. She was so stressed out, she lost her hearing.
Wow. That sucks. Other such reliefs court meeting. So she just wants Elon's lawyers to get their money back.
I think it's like the Johnny Depp trial where it's the principal. He just wants to prove a fucking point, regardless of how much money that is involved.
Maybe
she wants some money, but I think it's more of I need to set a precedent here. So she said it when Glenn Beck, that's who we were thinking about during her interview with Glenn Beck. She's like, I want to be able to set a legacy for people that will go through this in the future, so they don't have to suffer the way I suffered. So she wants to set a precedent to prevent this. She doesn't care about the money.
I mean, she could have asked for $1.
That's no fun though. That doesn't get headlines.
Then she cares more about the money than you're letting on. She was written out and replaced by that Battlestar Galactica Katie Sackhoff.
Who is that thing? She's probably ugly.
Hence why the commies target children. In a war of words, which this largely is often...
Hitler targeted the children too. He said that was his way to power, through the kids.
Use the correct references, not the one the other side prefers.
Right. Yeah. Don't use her language.
It's like apologizing, kind of. You're like, you're admitting something here by doing the thing. $1 would get mad headlines.
Right. Yeah. That's what Johnny Depp said. I don't care about the fucking money. I just want to make sure everyone sees that she's a cunt. And he won.
Johnny.
Well done, sir.
All right. I can't believe we're done. 2 hours and 40 minutes. I think my sister has a show coming up here in 45 minutes.
Oh, nice. There's a good throw off.
Is she here? Maybe she can confirm that.
that.
I'm pretty sure
Does she stress out before shows like you do?
I doubt it. She's probably nervous, but you probably can't tell by looking at her.
She has a game face.
If she is getting ready for that show, she may not actually still be here. Cuntley Kennedy.
Yeah, I looked at the Disney stock price, and it went from $200 a share to today it's down to $12 a share.
What is?
Disney. Type in Disney stock, Walt Disney Company stock, and go to their 5-year trend.
Okay.
That one looks way different than mine.
We're up, boys.
No, you're still down. That's still a loss.
From when?
That's 2020. 2021 is
You
when
said
everything
5
started
years,
going.
so it's gonna have fucking 2020 in it. We're up, boys.
That was the COVID government funded bump, and then the reality of wokeism kicked in and went back down again.
What are we looking at this for? I forgot.
That
Just
they're
to see what
losing
they're worth.
money.
Somebody was
They're losing.
saying that
How come yours
who
looks so
was
much different than mine?
I'm a girl. Somebody was
off.
saying that somebody was saying that they did okay. Like they showed gains, but when the market was doing 20% gains, Disney was only doing 5% gains. So while they were making it look like, and then they were giving away Disney Plus left and right to look like their
Yes, that was something they were
audience
saying
was growing.
overseas. They were just throwing it out there, and nobody wanted it. I threw in Rumble Chat all the companies that Disney owns. So this is bringing Disney down too, right? Not just maybe that's why your market. You're doing like Disney, and I'm doing like Disney parent company. Maybe that's why.
Yeah, I just did Disney. Like this is Disney.
No, that was the right Disney company. That's the one I picked. That's weird.
Hmm.
So those are all the
my
companies
God.
Disney owns. So remember I said they don't create anything, they just buy stuff that's good and ruin it.
This is a lot. I don't even it's like a psycho drew this while they were in the padded room.
Well, this is your mind control, weaponized fucking culture
Well,
wars right here.
do
If
we
you
just
control
click into
everything.
it? Oh, okay. It's getting better. The History Channel? No.
Oh, scroll down. I can't see.
You can't see that? Oh, share this instead. It's zoom. I'm zoomed
There you
in.
go. Yeah, see ESPN, everything that you like, they just bought everything.
Title Max. So we will. I'm just looking through this for fun.
Did you know Disney counts as independent music?
No.
So you know the Billboard music charts?
Mm-hmm.
So Tom McDonald would have won the Independent Billboard Music Award, but he lost it to Disney because Disney is not, or Disney is an independent music company, apparently.
What does it take to become an independent music company?
You can't be one of the big three. So RCA, whatever the other two big music companies are. If you're not one of the big three, you're considered independent. Even though you're a $1 billion company, Disney's considered independent music. And they beat out Tom McDonald with something stupid.
Good. Was it Tom McDonald and fucking Ben Shapiro?
No, it was before that. It was way before Tom jumped the shark.
Well, either way, if the criteria is the criteria, then I don't
But would you consider a $1 billion company as independent?
If other $1 billion companies are also if the criteria is the criteria, then I don't then I do consider that. I don't fucking make the criteria. If they fit into there, then yeah.
Did you know there's a Disneyland in Hong Kong? I didn't know that.
Well,
did not know that.
Now I know. So you just learned something.
They own ABC. There's all media.
Hulu, they just got that.
Yeah, they're just buying up the competition so they can't be.
They have to, so that when they edit out their movies and make everything woke, they own the fucking movie.
Exactly.
GoPro.
See, they own ESPN. Oh, I'm not buying no more GoPro shit. Thank you.
Chinese
Steamboat Willie. They don't have no Steamboat Willie. He's out of fucking copyright.
He's free. Reedy Creek. Oh, you can take this out of the map.
I don't know that. What's that?
Reedy Creek, that's the stuff that Mindset's been covering up in
Florida.
Florida.
Their territory they want to expand and buy, and that
I'm pretty sure they got fucked there.
They did because they're in a lawsuit, so now they can't even play in the lawsuit. They can't even expand until the lawsuit's over, which could take like 5 years.
Okay, so that's this. This is interesting. Let's see. Reject modern media. Disney is one of 6 corporate media conglomerates. Are there 6 still? Because I thought there were less than that. I thought that we had a merger. Let's find out. I guess it doesn't matter. There's a lot of research to do.
I think it's funny when one company owns them all and they try to say that they're 2 independent companies because there's 2 different CEOs, but they're still owned by the same fucking shareholders. Hey, there's old Fanny. She's still alive.
You think she's gonna get rid of herself?
She might get Clintoned.
Interesting. Nah. Several whistleblowers in Georgia reportedly want to talk to panel investigating Fulton District Attorney Fannie Willis. Special panel is looking into whether she misused state money. Tell me more. Republican state is okay. I'll just read the comments. And this is when the article doesn't give me anything, I like to go over here and see what they have to say.
Just go to the comments.
Wade says he has no financial interest in the outcome of the case. The outcome is not relevant here. It is the fact that he got rich by working on the case for which he is utterly unqualified. And as for Fannie, she took kickbacks. She's going to prison. I don't think she's going to prison. That doesn't usually happen.
No, she's not going to prison.
All right. So thanks for hanging out with us, Chad. Hopefully you'll learn something about both Mr. Biden, President in Potato in Chief, President Potato. He can't remember yesterday, and that's because
People
he's
like
just
potatoes
an elderly, sweet, forgetful old man, and you just
with the
leave him
nuclear
alone.
codes.
Well, he doesn't remember that, so we don't have to worry.
They should just put a button on his desk and see how many times he hits nuke.
Yeah.
It just turns the light on and off in the bathroom. He just says nuke on. He doesn't know.
That would be fucking funny. If SNL was any good, this would be what they would be putting on there. Dude,
but they're woke, so they can't make those funny jokes.
They're not allowed to have their own funny opinions. Well, then Roseanne Barr needs to get back on the fucking wagon because I'm here for it. Make the jokes, make me laugh. Now we know what's
her and Gina would be a great interview.
That would be fun to hear because they have this same predicament in different ways that they handled it, and both very strong women. So
yes, cool. Not to be fucked with women.
Yeah, Gina Carano will put you in the face.
Which, if you're a feminist, you'd be promoting these women that can't be fucked with and don't back down. And
you don't understand modern feminism,
right? You have to be a victim to be a real woman. Only victims are real women.
I was getting in Twitter fights with these stupid people who were mad. Like, I guess Taylor Swift's getting just roasted for being old and not having children yet, basically dead eggs. They were like, why are they saying that she's too old? You guys, this old-fashioned way of thinking. I'm like, wait, well, this is some doctor shit. At 35, you were considered a geriatric pregnancy. So shut the hell up. Yeah. And so I said that, and I was just sitting around waiting for them to reply so I could have the fight, and they just don't reply to me. Like, oh.
I have a friend of mine. She's my age now, and I asked her, like, do you regret not having kids? She's like, kind of, but I don't know like what I would do. I'm like, what do you mean you don't know what you would do? Like, you always wanted them your whole life and you just couldn't fucking, adult enough to fucking do it. So she was woke. She's woke, super woke.
She's all the way woke. All right, guys. Well, if my sister is having a stream, you should go sub to her. It's inappropriately said here on Rumble. It's going to be way more fun and entertaining than this was. I promise there will be no law jargon, no lazy
Make sure your sister doesn't besmirch Rumble or say anything negative about Rumble.
She won't. She's a great citizen of this country.
Oh, speaking of Rumble, do you know you can @ people in chat now?
Yeah, you've been able to do that. I'm glad you caught it.
No, you couldn't.
No, me. Yeah, you could. PB's here. Oh, you are not okay. Are you talking about on mobile or are you talking about
just in live chat? I could never @ somebody before. It'll autofill in now. Maybe that's the difference.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's the difference. It is
like if you just go I know you could first letter, it'll autofill all the people with the first letter, like YouTube does. Before you had to type out every fucking letter of their name.
Yeah. Hey, King of Holiday said yes, you could. We're gonna end that on a she's right note. My favorite type of note. We'll see you guys tomorrow. We are going to keep going through the book of the Deep Rig, talking about election interference in 2020 from a guy who
from an insider
was there. Yeah. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Take care, y'all.
Peace.